Welcome to episode 8 of the No Scrubs podcast. I almost fucking forgot which episode we're up to. I'm your host, Lewis, and joined with me today, my co-host, Mullet Madjack himself, Stephen. How you going?
I am very well, and if you haven't played that game, do it.
It's on the list. It's on the list. I'll get to it, alright? Get to it, don't bully me.
Yeah, but your list is like a fucking textbook.
It's fucked, bro. My list is horrific. There's so many games on it, and every now and again I go have a look at the list, and I'm like, I'm not going to fucking play this. It's been 4 years. I'm not fucking getting to it. I haven't written off Control yet. I got like halfway, and something else came out. I still want to get back to Control.
Yeah, but I bet I've got more games on my Steam wish list than you do.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. I remember making fun of you. Actually, years ago, I made fun of my boss for having like 300 games on a Steam wish list, and now I've got. Let me have a quick look. Let me see. I got 563.
Oh, those are small nut numbers.
What have you got, Matt?
878.
Damn, this man do be wanting.
It's the cycle of just going through the Discovery queue, just back to back to back to back to back.
Which is good to see. You're just like, oh, that looks interesting. And sometimes, like, I've had games where there's a game on my list that I added in 2017. I'm just going to remove it right now. It's been added since 2017. I'm not going to fucking buy it. But I've had ones where it's like games have gone down to like $7, and I'm like, and then I just remove them because I'm like, dude, you won't pay $7 for it. You're not going to buy the game. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I remember our mate Jordan saw. One of our other mates had added a game to his Steam wishlist that was $5, and he's like, he couldn't just spend the $5 on the game. Why are you adding it to your wishlist? You're never going to fucking buy it. If you don't have $5, bro, PC gaming is not the hobby for you. I'm sorry. You know, $5. Come on now. You know, but
I also like the wishlist where it's like, look through that, and like, there's a high chance you've already wishlisted it as well.
Stephen will tell me about a game, but you know. Look at us probably repeating a yarn because we can't help ourselves. But he'll be like, have you heard of this game? I'm like, nah, that sounds really interesting, and he'll tell me about it, and then I look at my wish list and it's already on there. But I'll recognise it by like the art style or seeing the gameplay, but by name or description, I'm like, I've got no fucking idea. I've never heard of this game in my life. Oh yeah, no, I've wish listed that, yeah. But,
couldn't tell you much about it. But look, cool enough to be on the list.
I've got a game on our games we've been playing that I finished that I can't fucking tell you much about because I don't remember anything from the story. So that'll be interesting. It's so funny though. You play a really gameplay driven game and you're like, dude, that was fucking awesome. What was the story about? I don't know, man. I spent 50 hours with it. I couldn't tell you a thing. So
story.
Yeah, what story? So we'll get into that soon. First thing I want to talk about today was. You probably haven't, to be fair, but did you see the Marathon, like anything on Marathon about the...
Is that Bungie's new IP?
So it's technically an old IP, but they are rebooting it. But it's going to be completely different. The thing it has in common is it's a sci-fi shooter, but it's an extraction shooter. I'm just amazed at, for me, personally, Bungie being like, look, hey, we're doing another sci-fi IP, and you're like, oh yeah, sweet as, and here's how it looks. You're like, holy shit, you've made another game that looks entirely different from Halo and Destiny. Like, they're so good at just making like an aesthetic and making it like very much their own and unique to them, because you feel like everything in sci-fi aesthetic-wise has been done before. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, this looks really fucking cool. I don't know. I'm not a big extraction shooter guy. I really like Hunt Showdown, but I'll play it once every 3 months, and I'll get so much anxiety playing the game, I won't play it for the next 3 months. This game is so tense. It's so fucking good, but it's so tense, and I just feel like I'm not that sweaty gamer anymore. So Marathon, while I love the aesthetic of it, it looks great. I'm sure it'll play great. I imagine it sounds like the rumor is the price tag will be the same as about Helldivers. So here it'd be like 70 New Zealand dollars, so 40 USD or something. And I just don't know if I want to drop $70 on it.
I kind of think it's cool when like a studio, their strength is pumping out a specific genre and theme of games, and I'm all for it. They're known as like, oh, they're the sci-fi shooter brand, like how what's the name of the company? I know the publisher is Nisa, developer is Nippon Ichi Software.
Oh yeah,
they're known for have you ever heard of Disgaea?
Oh yeah, I know the one.
So basically, their bread and butter is just making anime strategy RPGs. Like,
and it's just what they do.
Yeah, because I remember I was playing one of the Disgaeas. I want to say it was 2 or 3, and they had DLC characters. And I was like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" And so I was just like, oh, they don't seem like Disgaea characters. And I looked on the wiki, it's like, oh, no, they're from these quite old turn-based tactical strategy RPGs. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So they've been doing this for a long, long time.
And I feel like as well, because there's an interesting thing. You get people on both sides of it. Some people go, you get a studio like that or a publisher like that, and they'll branch out and do something different, and it's not that good. And people are like, see what happens when you branch out. But then you'll get studios like Guerrilla Games who made Killzone, and then they made Horizon Zero Dawn, and it was beneficial for them to branch out because Horizon, even the first game, has sold more than all the Killzones combined. So there is something to be said about taking risks and branching out, but also sometimes you're like, this is what we know, this is what we're good at.
Playing to your niche.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. There was that. Oh, I can't remember the name of the series. If I Google anime thigh game,
that's the Atelier series.
There you go.
I only know it because of the meme.
Yeah, but that
meme,
that thing that Japanese executive said about they made the thighs bigger because they thought it would sell better in these current economic times where they're struggling, and you're like, hey man, if it works, that's all you need. And that's just so wild to me. But that franchise, since that game came out, they've just put out another one, I think, recently, or they've got another one coming out, and it sounds like it is
not for us.
Well, that too. But it sounds like they're doing better since the Thigh one came out. The franchise is doing better than it's ever done. Like, so, and yes, they're doing the same thing over and over. Well, not over and over. That feels too. They're doing similar things. They're not just changing genre. You know, it doesn't mean it's the same. They keep doing the same kind of game, and then eventually, sometimes you break out into the mainstream. I mean, Final Fantasy didn't break out into the mainstream until 7. They were still popular before then, but that game absolutely blew up, and then Final Fantasy became fucking massive. And now there's 16 mainline games, and then there's like fucking 50 spin-offs. Honestly, probably more than 50.
Going to like to tack on to the playing to your niche. Another, I've probably like glazed him in one of our earlier eps, but one developer I really enjoy is Nihon Falcom. They're the people who do the Trails series. And the whole feel of it has been, because it started on PSP, then PlayStation Vita, and then they started making them for like PS4, PC and stuff, and the games were never visually impressive. Nice gameplay, with a lot of strategy ideas and stuff, but their strength was the way they can spin a yarn and world build.
Stephen, I heard someone literally a couple of days ago call them poor man's Persona. Please respond. Please respond.
No, not at all. Because you're not in wow. You're in high school in the Cold Steel series,
Anime
no,
games just will never beat the allegations, bro. They just like always.
I mean,
yeah. So you're this jacked high schooler.
I mean, like, with Trails in the Sky, the starting series, it's just a girl and this boy, and they join a thing called a Bracer Guild, which are basically just you do odd jobs that include like finding someone's cat, reuniting a loved one, killing this tentacle demon in the sewer. They were in high school.
God? When do you kill God?
No, they're sort of their games. Like I would say, it's on the maybe not to a degree of Gundam or Galactic Heroes, but one of the main conflicts is politics.
Oh,
yeah, which is kind of cool.
Though, is it just their in-game, their world politics?
Yes.
Not okay. That's actually more interesting and better than like Orange Man bad in video game or like whatever politics. Yeah, like I'm not interested in real life politics in video games. Like, doesn't mean games can't be political and have their own things, but I'm like, there's something about I like that they're not the real world. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing. Well, not just one thing, but a thing that I thought cool from a story standpoint is, because I start with Cold Steel, you're in like this region, and you've been warring. You're sort of a little bit warring with this nation called Calvard, and like there's another region that's like just getting its independence, and there's a couple of games where you play as like the Erebonia, people from Erebonia, then the people who are like finally getting dependence, and then in the later series you play as someone who's set in Calvard, and he was like, I thought they were all bad. It's like, no, it's just their fucking military and the people who were leading it were whack. They're just regular people.
That sounds like a real life scenario that I won't go into. that's
Perspectives, my boy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I completely understand that as well. Or you get people that it's like, man, fuck China, and you're like, what do you mean by that? And they're like, yeah, fuck the Chinese. You're like, what? You don't know every Chinese person. Come on now, mate. Like, you're just saying. Are you telling me you don't like their government's actions? Yes. Okay, well that's a different thing. Like, don't just say it's all of the people of this place.
Oh, but it's so easy to generalize.
You're like, I'd rather generalize. It's fine.
It's easy. It's convenient.
You're not that type of guy, mate. Okay.
No.
But yeah, I mean that does sound more interesting. I hear though there's a lot of text in those games, and I'm
sorry
not about it.
My goodness, is it wordy?
Yeah, and I know as well. Every time I say stuff like that, it's like
Visual Novel's got nothing on how wordy this game can get.
Yeah, I've heard it's a lot, and I'm sure the games could be good. And I always sound like it's always like, well, you don't want to read when playing a game. What are you, fucking dumb? Yes, I am. I spend all day looking at. Well, I spend all my work time looking at screen. I come home and I look at screen. I don't want to read anymore. I've been reading fucking emails all damn day. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I'm not going to go read a game. I'll play through every Pokemon game and spend. I'll through an entire Pokemon game. I would have spent probably like 5 minutes reading text because I'm just like nah. Oh, that bit's sensible. Okay, nah.
Well, that's the other praise that people go. It's like, oh, every NPC just has so much character to them, and I was just like, I wouldn't know, because unless they were giving me a quest, I was kind of bashing through the dialogue options.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as like you'll be paying attention to all the main story and all the important stuff, but otherwise, man, you're going to be there a long time. You're like, man, it's been 3 hours since I've seen combat. let me get back in.
Combat's slick though. Combat is very, very nice.
I'll be honest, still not games on my list. But that's what makes us all different, Steve.
You were accusing me on the stream that I don't read.
you, you don't read books. And neither do I, mate. I haven't read a book all the way from start to finish since I was 15 years old. Okay,
pamphlets and manuals don't count. We came to that conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of these things. If I was to read and actually retain the information, I have to read so painfully slow. I'd be on the same book for like 6 months.
If you read one whole book, you would get those popped out throbbing veins out the side of your head. It's like, you alright? It's like, yeah, what's wrong? Read a book.
What's wrong? Knowledge. Yeah, man. I'm much more like visual and like hands-on kind of person. So I have no imagination. Like, so you hear about, boys have made fun of me for this before, but you hear about the things you close your eyes and you try to visualize something. I literally see nothing. There is no. Some people will close their eyes and they can see like a two-dimensional kind of thing. Some of them will see it in full color and 3D and can move it around. And the thing is like, close your eyes and visualize an apple. I see fucking nothing. There is nothing there.
So you've seen that image of like 3 different people that view apples. One is like just a picture of an apple. The other one is like a grey, almost 3D render of an apple.
Yeah.
And the other one's the word apple.
Yeah, and I'm none of them. I see literally nothing. I don't even see the word or anything. So I think that's why also reading doesn't work for me, because I can't like visualize everything I'm reading. I understand what I'm reading, but I can't like paint the picture in my head. So, I read the first 4 Harry Potter books. I was at that kind of age, and then I fell off.
Couldn't even imagine a guy with glasses.
Couldn't imagine this fucking dweeb just kicking ass, alright? But people were like, Hogwarts is what I imagine and something like that. I had no fucking idea what Hogwarts looked like in my mind. I had no idea. I was like, it's a castle. And then I saw it in the movies. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's cool.
I like to think that when you've read Harry Potter and when you're trying to recall it, you can't envision anything about it. You just envision the book and the words that you literally just read.
Really, honestly, really just whatever was on the cover of the book is kind of the only thing that painted a picture in my head.
You're the reason why some adults need picture books.
Oh, genuinely? Fucking useless. Absolutely useless. Just words on a page? No.
Dude, it's just like, because manga's basically picture books, but also a reason why manga, anime, and JRPGs are a mistake. Look how I derailed this whole conversation just talking about trails.
Look, we don't.
I had a lot to say. I'm passionate.
We don't have a stacked document today, so the more we can drag this out, the better.
This document. Hell yeah.
No, we've always said anyway, like, we'd like the episodes to be at least an hour if possible, and then anything above that, great. It could be, we've had hour and a half, we've had 2 hours, we've had, probably I think we'd have 2 hours 20.
2 hours seems to be our usual.
Yeah, and I'm happy as long as we reach an hour. And that's the thing I heard recently, someone saying about a podcast. It was Colin from Last Stand Media was talking about how when he was working for IGN, they would be like, "Oh, we've reached an hour. Guess we're going to end the conversation. Bye, everyone." And he was like, "Why? It's on the internet. Why does it matter if it's an hour? Like, it could be 2 hours. It could be 3 hours. It's a fucking podcast. You make it. It goes for as long as it needs to go." And that's what I like about it as a medium. It's like, it could be short, it could be long. It doesn't really matter. You talk about everything you got to talk about, and that's it. And like I was joking before about drag it out, which we don't never bother dragging anything out for the sake of it. It would really just be if we got something to say, we'll fucking say it. We're not gonna unless someone's like at one time we were a little bit late getting to it, and I was like, maybe we talk about that one next week. And then I said, fuck it, we're here, let's talk about it.
Or like that one time where I was just like, can we wrap this up? I'm literally on the cusp of pissing my pants.
and then I made it sure I held him up for another 2 minutes.
I learned a lesson not to just slam back my protein shake after the gym as soon as I get home and on the computer. So I have it with me, sipping it like a little baby with apple juice.
Dude, one of my workmates, old guy, because it was trendy to have one of those like drink bottles with the little flippy lid, and he was just going on, he's like, oh yeah, it's a great drink, but I was like, mate, you've got a fucking adult sippy cup. And he's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. He got really defensive about it. It is straight up an adult sippy cup.
Does it have two handles on the side?
I wish, mate. I wish. That'd be amazing. But
he's like, this is the best. Yeah, you actually have to suck to get the balls. Like,
he's got a baby bottle that resembles a nipple.
Damn.
Shout out to that guy.
Imagine just having a rough day and it's just like, fuck man, I'm real anxious, just gave up smoking, I need to have a wee suckle just to calm my nerves. There's no water in it. It's just the motion of having something to suckle on, like a boob.
Look, I get it, mate. I think we've just stumbled upon $1 billion industry, Stephen. So
trick or treat.
That's it, mate. That's it. That's got to be the Halloween special edition one. So anyway, anything more you got to say about Trails?
No. It's I understand it's not for everyone, but like if you like a good like world building and stuff, it's cool. I feel it's something that getting adapted into like an anime or maybe a book, but I don't think like they did do a short series. They released one back in the day, haven't watched it, and they released another one that it doesn't really have anything to do with the mainline story. So I'm just like, I have attachments to certain characters, so I'm a miss that. But it's one of those games where I feel either a book or a game is probably the only medium that can do it well.
Yeah, that's fair. Back to what we derailed from in the first place, Marathon. Have you played many Bungie games?
I played...
You're not really a shooter guy.
No, but I have fond memories of back on I think it was... No, I've actually had 4 instances of playing Halo. First one was I remember playing ODST with our mate Alex. I remember going to parties where they'll set up projectors and we would all play and they'd be like, oi, stop screen watching. And I was just like, it's a fucking projector. It's hard not to.
Yeah, there's so much screen to watch.
And recent Halo was playing a fully modded Halo 1 on stream.
Hey, you said you had 4 times, but you only gave 3 examples. Mate.
Oh, one time I played... what was the last Halo game on 360?
Reach.
So I remember playing Reach with Hamish.
Oh, that's wholesome. Have you played any Destiny 1 or 2?
Oh, I got... Only because I had a mate who hit me up and hit our friend Jordan up. It was like, yo, I have some free, like, early access codes for the first Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
And gave it a blat. That's when Jordan was telling me he could definitely find the New Zealand players, because there was one player called X25 X, one just called Mongrel Mob, and then there's 2 I cannot say on stream, not on the pod.
Look, that's fair, mate. That's fair. Because I've played a lot of Bungie games, so it wasn't though. I didn't play Halo 1 and 2 when they came out because I was a PlayStation gamer at the time. It's just a young boy. I was just a boy. And I played a little Halo 1 and 2 at our mate Brogan's house, like just a little birthday things. But by that point, it was offline Halo. He knew all the maps, knew where all the weapons were, and just fucked my day up. And I'm just trying to figure out the massive Xbox controller, which now I would say is way better than the PS2 controller, to be quite honest. Even those original Xbox controllers, like the Duke, and then the one that came after, which I don't think is officially called the Duchess, but people refer to as the Duchess, they're actually quite comfy controllers.
I was about to say, were you about to praise the original Xbox controller? Because they're fat and awkward.
Yeah, so am I, mate. Real respect, real. So, I find them more comfortable. I think the PS2 controller, because I think when it came out the PS1, it was pretty good, pretty revolutionary. PS2 controller, all the triggers got stuck down all the fucking time after you had a controller for like 6 months. It was just shite. The thumbsticks are not particularly accurate. And then PS3 was the same thing again. I was like, bro, this sucks.
Dude.
The Xbox 360 controller just changed the game completely. It was such a good controller. Now, PS4 controller was a step in the right direction, and PS5 is a good controller. I still prefer the Xbox controller now, but PS5 controller is still good.
You know how a while ago we talked about how the PS3 controller felt cheap?
Yeah.
So, core memory unlocked. I remember one time when I was in like year 9 or year 10, went round to a mate's house. I think it might have been his birthday, and it was just like pizza, and then we would all had multiple controllers and would all play on his PS3. We were playing a wrestling game. We were kind of going not hard, but we were putting some pressure on the PS3 controller. And then we hand it to him, and he goes to press a button, and I shit you not, the controller just falls apart. And he's just like, what? What? It was like, it was fine when I used it.
Yeah, that's wild. Very unfortunate. But, hey, happens to the best of us. Was that Halo? So we played at a mate's place, and then when the Xbox 360 came out, and I had a few mates that were getting it, and I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll get an Xbox 360. Yeah, I was working at the time, just part-time, that supermarket job. So I was like, I can afford it. And the bundle I got had, because everyone was getting Kung Fu Panda and Lego Indiana Jones, and I'm like, I don't want those fucking games.
Oh, true.
So I got a bundle, which, shout out Dick Smith Electronics, fucking throwback.
Oh no, still online.
Yeah, they're owned by Kogan now. So they had to order it because I got the Elite, and they had to order it. It was the only one in the South Island was Ashburton. They had to fucking ship it to Christchurch. And it came with Halo 3 and Gears of War. Fucking excellent bundle. Sick bundle. Because I played Gears of War with our mate Peter, his sister's boyfriend at the time, and we were playing Gears of War 1v1s, and I never played like an Xbox 360, and I just started fucking them up. Once I started like realizing what the game was about, I was like, this fucking rules. I gotta get one of these. And then when I tried to play Halo, I really wasn't into it at first. And then I was just playing Gears, and then I'm like, I should give Halo a go. And I played through the campaign of Halo 3. I'm like, this is incredible. So then later I went back and played through 1 and 2, and Halo 1 is actually my favorite. So most people who have Halo 1 as their favorite, it's nostalgia. They're like, that's the one I grew up playing. I didn't even grow up playing Halo 1. I'm like, I just think it's the best one. It's just excellent. The sound design is still amazing. Use of surround sound that they had then on the original Xbox, fucking crazy. I never played anything like those games once I really kind of understood what Halo was about. And then I played a lot of Reach and ODST with the boys through high school as well, which is great. Firefight mode in ODST was a really cool addition. So many multiplayer shenanigans all the time. I remember listening to System of a Down and Trivium and shit just while fucking playing multiplayer games on Halo, because you could do that on the Xbox 360. You want to put your games on there, you plug your iPod in, you can play your own music through it. It was fucking awesome. So I played the fuck out of that. Sorry, you were...
I was just going to say, also, I think Halo, like, at that time, I'm pretty sure Halo, the first one, was the only one of the series. Obviously, we got them years down the line. That was released for both OG Xbox and PC.
Halo 2 also released on PC, but it was a Windows Vista exclusive.
Oh.
And it was through like the shitty Games for Windows Live thing, and it was a fucking mess. So, technically Halo 2 as well, but kind of not. Yeah, it's kind of shite because of that. And then they decided, no more PC until much later. I bought an Xbox One off my workmate because I was like, oh, Halo 4 is coming out, man. I got to fucking play that. And he was like, he bought it to be like a Plex Media, like to play his Plex stuff, but then he didn't use it that much, and he was like, so he sold it to me cheap. So I think somewhere I've still got the day one Xbox One controller.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was cool, but I got it cheap second hand. And then Halo 4, I was like, this is okay. And Halo 5, I was like, this is also okay. And then Halo Infinite, I really enjoyed. Also, actually, we're at this point, we're not even talking about Bungie anymore, because Halo 4 and 5 and Infinite are not Bungie. It was 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach, and then the map packs were done by 343, who then made the next games, and now they're Halo Studios. But I thought Infinite was actually quite fun. And it sounds kind of weird to say, but Halo Infinite was kind of like, what if Halo and Far Cry had a baby? You're like, what? And it worked kind of well, except they were like, hey, I hope you like one type of environment, because that's all you're going to get. I wish there was just a bit more environment. Because Halo had all these different maps. Here's a snowy map. Here's one in the desert. Here's jungle kind of stuff. Because you were going around to different places. But this was like, all right, here's mountains. Here's mountains and Forerunner like construction. That's it. Oh, cool. Thanks, game. And the multiplayer was actually pretty sick. I played quite a bit of it actually. But yeah, so Bungie stopped doing Halo. They were like, nah, we don't want to be under the thumb of Microsoft anymore. We're going to join Activision, and we're going to make Destiny. And they're like, oh, turns out Activision are more oppressive than Microsoft. Oh no! So then after Destiny 1, especially, they were trying to get out of it. I can't remember if I think Destiny 2 launched under Activision as well, because they wanted to make Destiny just be a complete like live service, because they saw where the market was going, and Activision were like, no, you have to just keep putting out game after game after game, because that's what we do. Even though they'd already merged at that point, and they had World of Warcraft, which is not that, and is a cash cow. But they're like, look at Call of Duty. Look, we're going to put out Overwatch 2, which was also pressure from the Activision side of Activision Blizzard, which was a mistake because it completely killed Overwatch. So that was a reason. So they had to make Destiny 2, and then they managed to get the rights to it themselves. And they're like, thankfully, we're free again. Then they get bought out by Sony. And then now their team has been like spread between, I think, 3 different teams from Bungie. There are like 3 teams from them. Apparently there's like an RTS or something. No, it wasn't. No, there's a MOBA that's in the works, and then there's another shooter apparently, and Marathon. It says like Marathon's got about 300 people working on it. So back to to the start of where this tangent led us, but Marathon. So it is based on one of the older shooters. I believe there's 3 games. There's 3 Marathon games, but it just looks really slick from this. Like, I think, and Scriptlet's going to see this, and then he's going to comment a sad face. I played a little Tarkov with him and DT, and there's an extraction shooter. I could not stand it. I thought it was fucking awful, to be quite honest. I thought it was worse than he thinks Silicon Valley is.
But I thought he liked Silicon Valley.
He said he gave up in season 5.
Oh, but giving it a good shake.
That's a good shake. And that's also near the end, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Tarkov, I was like, I know that he and DT like it because there's inventory management and it is slow and methodical and stuff, but I just find it kind of like I popped my head out for half a second and I died. I lost everything. I lost the wife, the kids, the dog, everything, because I
Yeah,
popped my head out for 1 second in the wrong spot.
you're just like, oh fuck, I'll just go play Rust then.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I'd rather play the Dark Zone in the Division, which is also like that, or DMZ in Call of Duty, which I also think is just okay. But I think it is my least favorite extraction shooter I've played. And that's why I think there is room for this fast-paced extraction shooter. I mean, Tarkov charges a premium for entry, so there is a chance that Marathon can succeed, especially because it's going to be on console and PC, so just a bigger market. But we will have to see. Because Destiny and Halo both feel fucking awesome to play. They just feel so smooth. So, I mean, this the next company we're going to talk about, I think makes the best feeling shooter. Period. So, yeah, there is room for that. While Respawn is not making an extraction shooter. So, I want to check Marathon out, but I just don't know if I want to drop full price on it. And it's a game that I'd have to see if any of the boys are interested, and I don't think many of them are going to be.
So it's friend slop.
It's not friend slop, but I think some games are better played with friends. So, I say the next studio I want to talk about is Respawn, and they're making a Star Wars strategy game, kind of like XCOM, and it looks fucking awesome.
Ooh.
And so I'm saying just before about Bungie, but I think Respawn make the best feeling shooters, just straight up. I think that Titanfall 2 still is so fucking outstanding. Apex Legends is the best feeling battle royale game, and it's not even fucking close. Like, I'm trying to think who's even comparable. Fortnite, the shooting just feels fucking off to me. It's a fine game. There's so much in it, but I'm like, oh, it's a shooter where the shooting doesn't feel that good. Okay, well, I'm just not super interested. Call of Duty's probably the next best because the shooting actually does feel good, but there's a billion fucking cheaters in it. You get into a lobby of 100 people and fucking 45 of them are cheating. You know, so I'm just not super interested. Battlefield, who gives a fuck? Battlefield hasn't been relevant in 10 years. I'm actually hopeful that they will put out a good Battlefield because it'd be good for competition, to be honest. And then Respawn, as much as everything they're putting out is great, those third-person Star Wars games that they're putting out are fucking awesome. Like Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, excellent games. Yes, Jedi Survivor ran like fucking dog shit on PC for 6 months. Even though a friend was like, oh, it actually runs fine. You just have to lower the settings to low and your resolution down to 1080p and it runs fine. That's not a game that runs fine. What do you fucking mean? You have to halve your resolution for the game to run well. Nah, it's fine. Nah, the performance was dog shit. Everything else about the game was excellent.
What was the first Respawn Star Wars game before
Jedi
Survivor?
Fallen Order?
So I remember dabbling that, and I enjoyed it. Didn't finish it, but I sort of came away with the same feeling I had with Shadow of Mordor, as it's like you can tell they're inspired or just straight borrowed elements of other games, but it's done well, and it's just like, hey, I'm sort of familiar with this.
I absolutely agree. It's like they've ripped off a bit of Uncharted, and you could argue they ripped off Tomb Raider and so on as well. But you know, there's a bit of Uncharted in there. There's definitely a bit of Sekiro and a bit of Dark Souls, and you know, there is a lot. There's a bit of Metroid in there. Like they've borrowed a lot, but I think it comes together really well. Like to be honest, God of War also doesn't borrow all of these quite the same, and not blatant makes it sound like Respawn's, you know, not taking care of it, and they are. But God of War also borrows from a lot of these things as well, and those games are excellent. So, yeah, I think it's done really well, and this is a studio that, talking before about Guerrilla, this is a studio that's known for doing shooters, and then they've made a VR game, which is a shooter, but a VR game, and it apparently was okay. But VR games are tough. If you don't just make VR games, it's very difficult to make a good one on a one-off, unless you're Valve and just, the exception to the rule always. But they made a VR game that was not bad. They've now made these action adventure games which are really good, and now they're making a fucking strategy game like XCOM, and you're like, how can this team be so good? How can everything they do, and yes, the Star Wars game strategy game is not out yet, but how can they be so good at so many different things? It's just mind-blowing to me. But I would rather see them make Titanfall 3 or something. This is once again with your Trails team, that we make this one thing and we do it well.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Respawn just make one thing, but I don't want them to spread themselves too thin doing all these different things where they could be making the best, like I say, they could put out the best feeling extraction shooter ever. Genuinely. If they made one, it would feel better than all. It might not get all the players, but they're going to spend 10 times that amount on Battlefield that's going to have less players anyway. So,
and you'll have a hardcore devoted fan base.
Yeah.
That will continue to support.
So I hope that they'll come around to something like that. And I'm not saying that they necessarily have to make an extraction shooter, but make Titanfall 3. Please. So many people want this. It would be so good. Every now and again, me and the boys boot up Titanfall 2 and just bro, this is a fucking video game right here.
This is a video game.
This game fucking rules. And there's always OCE servers, which you can't say that about so many games. PUBG is somehow still popular. And that game, speaking of battle royales that look and run like shit, PUBG on launch was the most diabolical thing I've played in my fucking life. It was so bad. It was so bad to the point that Scrippler, once again, he was put off by battle royales, and we had to convince him to get on Apex Legends for a third time until it won him over, because PUBG he just thought it was the biggest heap of shit. He feels about that like I feel about Tarkov. No, PUBG was I think PUBG was worse, to be honest. PUBG was so buggy that if everybody started playing on low settings, because the grass would despawn on low settings. So if you're hiding, you think you're hiding in the grass and you're in high settings, the people on low settings can see you because the grass is despawned.
Exploits.
It's so fucking stupid. Or sometimes you had I can't remember what you call it, your render distance kind of down. You'd see before the house would pop in, you'd see a person floating in midair, and then you'd move a few more steps further, and then you'd see the house pop in. You're like, okay, there's someone on the second story. What a mess of a game. And that was a game that they made the mistake of. Well, they made many mistakes because it's hard. I don't know what it's like now, but last time I tried to play it, which I'll look at when it was. It was so long ago now. But I tried to find a game and I just could not find a game in OCE at all. And that's because their big mistake was they were like, oh, let's have singles and duos and triples and quads, and then have this game mode with singles, duos, triples, quads, and it just meant that the player base was spread so thin. You would just had people trying to queue up. You needed 60 people, and you've got 10 people in this game mode, 10 people in this one, 10 people in this one, and that just
would do it.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't great in that regard, man. They didn't have to do that. It was 2018 last time I played. So yes, it was 7 years ago. I played for 8.5 hours, and I didn't enjoy a single minute of it.
Dang.
So, PUBG catching strays, but the PUBG mobile scene was surprisingly big in esports for a while. I think it was mostly in China, but
don't worry,
anyway,
we'll reload and take a hit at Ubisoft later.
Oh yeah, that's coming up. Don't you worry. Don't you fucking worry.
Thought you were off the hook.
Yeah, no, you're never off the hook with me, Ubisoft. Anyway, did you see the trailer for that strategy game? Star Wars
No,
one?
it's the first time I'm hearing about it.
No. It's alright, mate. We'll
But
get you watching that trailer at some point, eh?
but I do like strategy games.
I
So
was thinking this could be the next XCOM 2 for us. This could be a 4-player fucking romp at some point.
ooh. Oh, especially when you're saying it's like XCOM.
Yeah. It looks a
'Cause-
lot like it. I mean, they're all same. Yeah, similar, very similar type of game overall.
Because we did
It looks like as well your jetpack like characters as well, you know, because you've got that in Star Wars. So there's characters with mobility and stuff. And I would never have thought of Star Wars being in this kind of strategy game. And then you see it, you're like, oh, this Star Wars lends itself so fucking well to this. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I'll be keen. Because I think it's the general consensus is, even though we're all enjoying our Baldur's Gate stream, I think the most fun we've had is doing XCOM. Phoenix Point didn't really hit. Well, it didn't hit as well as XCOM.
Yeah,
So-
it didn't hit. It's just not. I can't explain why either, but it's just not as good of a game to me. But I can't tell you why I think it's worse. There's just something about it. I wish I could explain it, but I can't.
Nah, park it. We'll play Troubleshooters instead. It's a weeby XCOM.
That's I'm good.
That's been on my wish list for like 4 or 5 years, and I said, "Oh, it's $30," and I was just like, "That's still too much."
Yeah. The thing is, the game actually looks alright. I forgot about that, but I don't want to play it. So, something interesting people pointed out about the Switch 2 reveal is that the Switch 2 has the first paid button on a controller. If you get a year's worth of that, like chat, that video chat and function free, and that with the C button, and then it's part of the paid like online subscription after that. So if you then press that button, I don't know, does nothing happen, or does it take you to a screen where they're like, give us money? But there's a paid button on the controller, and that's just kind of funny.
That's real funny.
Really fucking dumb when you really think about it, eh? Like I don't pay for Switch Online. I'm not interested. Pokemon Unite was the only game I played online, and you didn't need the you didn't need the subscription to play it online.
No.
So yeah, Switch Online just doesn't really interest me, and maybe that'll change when the Switch 2 comes out. You know, I still pay for PlayStation Plus, but I've been doing it in bulk to save money.
I think the only good thing for me was this is a wee bit of a story, but long story short, lived with someone, partner. We broke up, had moved back home, and all my shit was still there. Didn't set up the computer. My brother's just like, "Oh, you can play on the Switch if you like," and I was just like, "Fucking all my games over there." And he's like, I've got Nintendo subscription. I was like, what am I gonna fucking play? I played a lot of Breath of Fire 2 and a shit ton of Punch Out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, damn, these games, in some departments, haven't really aged that well. But Breath of Fire 2, I was just like, hell yeah, I'm gonna give that series another blat. And I finished 3.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
Funny as well when you're in a moment in your life where things are like kind of nah, you really remember these games, eh?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
remember those things like quite well in those moments, because that's what's just you know, those are the moments where you're like, I need something to take my mind off the shit that's happening around me, and then you just play these games and that just occupies your whole mind for a bit. It's kind of nice though.
It was around the same era where it was like, you know, it's like, I do not feel well. And then it's like, I don't know if it's going to be okay. And I listened to an episode of Come Town and I laughed so hard and I was like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So yeah, a little silly with that one, but it is what it is.
That's real silly.
It feels very on brand for Nintendo.
Like they've got a money button.
Yeah, press the money button.
You know what's gonna? They better think it out properly, because you'll hear stories of like little kids accidentally paying for something on Roblox because like the credit card details are loaded in. Imagine just some fucking mush brain 4-year-olds just like button spam 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 spam, and then the mom's just like, Zachary, why do we owe Nintendo $4,000?
Why is Miyamoto at the door to take the house?
It's just a bunch of repo men, but they're all wearing like Mario and Luigi hats.
And the overalls and everything.
Yeah, but they're all like jacked and wearing
And
sunglasses.
Like, man, this moment's not very wahoo for you.
But it's a choice. Maybe you could just duct tape over it so you don't press it.
Oh, what's this duct tape on the controller? Never mind, mate. Never mind. Don't go look at it.
Worst thing is like, oh, you know how with some games like you can either rapid tap a button or you could just hold it down. You duct tape over it, and it's like, I'm in debt, and I've had this Switch for like a day.
6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
6 minutes, and I'm in crippling debt.
Yeah.
I've paid for 6,000 years of Nintendo Switch Online. Please send help.
Because wasn't a bit of a complaint about with Nintendo Switch Online features, be it like party chat and stuff, you had to use the app on your phone?
Yeah. So Nintendo confused me because in some ways they're the best, and they're like, the most important thing is having good games, and they still put out good games. They put out games that are actually complete and polished, and sometimes you'll get a Nintendo game and it'll be like day one and it won't have like a day one patch because it's like it's ready to go on, I get them digitally, but on cart, right? It's ready to go. It's been ready for fucking 4 months. They're great like that. And then there's shit like this where it's like you can't have party chat like you had on Xbox 360, which came out 20 fucking years ago.
What next?
How long did it come out? Where did it go? I mean, Xbox 360 release.
What next? Nintendo releases a VR headset, and if you blink while using it, it boots you out of the game.
Look, I'd believe it. Absolutely fucking crazy. I was like, okay. I said that, and then I was thinking, there's no way the Xbox 360 is 20 years old. 20 years old in November. Holy shit, we are fucking old, dude. Oh my god, that ain't right. That is not right, man. That's fucked up. This hurts me.
You were raised on an Xbox Live lobby.
Oh, dude. You wouldn't survive a minute in the asylum that raised me. Call of Duty lobbies.
I remember seeing this
Have you seen that meme?
No.
No, okay. That's me referencing a meme. I'm not just being dark and edgy like a Disturbed album cover.
Oh, wow. I remember watching one of my favorite streamers, and he was just like, yeah, just one time I decided to boot up the old Xbox 360, and he's just like, you'll get memories of this person that you would spend like hundreds upon hundreds of hours playing a certain game. Then life changes, and it's like, you just never hear from that person again. They were a lobby friend.
And you look at it and you're like, offline for 12 years.
Yeah.
Oh man. It's kind of sad. But the Xbox 360 era is my most fond gaming memory era, because other than of course you, but nearly all my friends had Xbox 360s at that time, and I've never seen a time since that when a game comes out, I'd go on my Xbox, have 20 friends online, 18 of them playing that game or something like that. I've never had that happen since. Like, there's a
Not
couple
even
of
on
times
Steam.
the closest was probably Helldivers, when I'd go on theme and then see like 6 people playing Helldivers. I'm like, oh fuck, that's a big deal like these days. But it just, that doesn't really happen anymore. And that's the last time I truly remember it. And didn't really have much of it in the PS4 era. You'd get it sometimes. You're like, oh, 4 people are playing Dark Souls 3 or whatever. Cool. But dude, Gears of War 3 came out. My entire friends list was fucking playing it pretty much. Crazy. Like, it just doesn't happen anymore. That's the reason why I miss that era so much, is the big games were just like, holy shit, everybody needs to get online and play this. It's good shit, man.
Yeah. But I almost wish I had an Xbox instead around that period in time, just because I had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, then PlayStation 3, and just not many of my friends had PS3s.
Because they were fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Here, I can't remember, the Xbox was something like $800, I think, around that when it launched. And the PS3 was, yeah. And the PS3, because it dropped down significantly. I think they ended up like $500, like not that far down the track. PS3 was like $1,200 to $1,300 here. It was fucked. It was obscene. So you're like, well, why would I spend so much more money on this when all my friends are on this? And it wasn't until like later on the PlayStation generation that the PS3 generation, that the PS3 really started putting out. They started getting bangers. They started getting really, really good games quite late into the generation, and ultimately ended up selling more like late into it. But for me, I was still like, that was the Xbox generation, and they fucked it all up.
Yeah, because when the PS4 came out, there was a switch. There was a massive switch. Like half of our mates had PS4s. I didn't know anyone who had a Xbox One.
Yeah, I knew very, very few people that had
I knew like 2 people.
Yeah. I knew very few people. I got a PS4 way before I got an Xbox One. And they just, because they, some people still say PS3 won that generation. I still say the Xbox One, the 360 generation for sure. Because they went from being, I know it's Microsoft, but they went from being the underdog as the Xbox brand to being like on top of the world. And then they fucked everything up, and they just have not recovered since. Like, it is crazy. And then they lose what people argue is the most important generation of like the PS4 and Xbox One, because now all your libraries are digital. Yeah, there were digital games on the 360 and stuff, but it wasn't as big as it is now. So, why would I change ecosystem when I've got fucking 50 games attached to my library on this one, and I can't play them if I go over there?
I also love the dig Sony did at Xbox. It's like, how to share a game with your friend. Hey, would you like to share this game? Yes, here you go.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad because there's so much of the stuff that Microsoft actually kind of got right in terms of like online DRM and stuff, that look at the state of games now. This is one of these upcoming stories with Ubisoft. This is exactly what's happened.
What a segue.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it. The other story could wait, because Ubisoft have been in court regarding the game The Crew, and they released it in 2014, and then one day they've said, they did give people a heads up, but they're like, yeah, we're taking it offline and you can't play the game at all anymore. And then they've essentially also said they're taking the keys back, like the licenses back. And people are like, what the fuck, you can't do that? And there's a quote here, and it's, the reality is that consumers receive the benefit of their bargain and were explicitly notified at the time of the purchase that they were purchasing a license. So Ubisoft is saying that you don't own your games; they're just licenses. And while true, it's a real kick in the dick to be like, "Oh, you don't own these things. You paid us $100." And I know there's an argument to be made. It's like, this is a game that came out now 11 years ago. And should games that are online be online forever? Should they have to host servers? Probably not, but I think they should make the games, they should develop the games with in mind of actually being playable offline once the servers do go down. Or let people host their own servers or anything like that, because it's a fucking kick in the teeth to spend $100 on this game and they just one day say, too bad, you can't play this anymore. It's fucking bullshit. So, I people are saying here's a good argument. If me purchasing the game means I don't own it, then piracy is not theft. I was like, well, technically not true. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't feel as bad for a company that treats their consumers that way if people pirated their games. I just wouldn't have as much sympathy. I'm not saying you should go do it, and it's not your right to do it, but ultimately, I don't have a lot of sympathy for these companies just being fucking slimy cunts. Like, people as well will say anything you own on Steam is also just a license. True, but Valve hasn't done anything to fuck me over. Valve has all my goodwill because they don't treat their consumers like that.
Yeah.
Ubisoft doesn't give a fuck. And that's why I say I don't shit on them too much. I shit on them just the right amount because, yeah, that response I know as well. Yes, this is in court and they're trying to win, but it's a really slimy response about, yeah, you don't know them. You knew what you were getting. You knew you were just purchasing a license that we could take away at any time. No, I think it said buy. I'm pretty sure it said buy when people tried to get the game. It's not just rent a license until we say you can have it back. You know, you better change all your fucking wording then.
Yeah, because when you buy something, it's almost like you're under the impression that you are the owner of said purchased item.
Yeah, like if all the fucking PS2 physical games and stuff I've got, I can still play those.
Yeah,
you can play them right now. I've got PS1 games, 2, some 3, some Xbox 360. I've got some fucking Sega Mega Drive games. Was fucking Sonic the Hedgehog going to break into my house and steal it back? Oh, it's actually just a license. And then, you're too slow, and then just snatches it from me. Like, I understand, and we're in a digital age, it is different, but when companies do this shit, you're like, Ubisoft already didn't want to give you money, and I sure as fuck don't want to give you money now, you dog cunts.
Crash Bandicoot just repossesses your PlayStation 1, jumps out the window with a whoa!
Spins me, kicks me in the dick. Whoa! Fucks off. Yeah. So obviously going pretty hard in the paint, but I hate this shit so much, and you just have to look at all these other companies that would not do this to you.
And also just the term, like the idea of, you have a license to play this game. It's like, I spent $100.
Yeah.
Plus, it's mine.
Yeah, come on now. I've spent good money on this.
Yes, I spent a portion of my paycheck for a game for me to own.
Absolutely. So, I think as well, European Union are looking at trying to, because I absolutely love these things European Union do. My favorite example is like the Apple one. It's like Apple's like, we're using our own proprietary cable, and like, not if you want to sell iPhones in Europe, bitch. USB-C or get the fuck out. And that was why they changed.
Good.
So they're trying to pass legislation over there to be like, if you are selling a game that is online only, if you decide to take down the servers, these games have to be playable in other ways. Which is awesome, as the way it should be if you've spent money on it. Like I say, I don't expect these games to be online forever. I understand there's server costs, and you get to a point where you're like, damn, this is just hemorrhaging money because we're paying for all these servers over time. Sure, if you made a purchase for $100 11 years ago, yeah, maybe the online play can go down, but at least have an offline functionality available.
Well, what even though it hasn't released in the West, and I don't think it ever will. So Dragon Quest X is an MMO, and what they did the past couple of years, and they were just like, oh yeah, we're just releasing an offline version that you can just play.
Yeah,
I was like, that's cool.
That's right. I have heard that, which is interesting, and I think it's good as well. I think as well, because where can you play Dragon Quest? Is it only Japan, or is it just Asia in general?
I want to say Asia in general.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Dragon Quest is way more popular in Japan than it is anywhere else. I find it so interesting that Japan, I mean, and Dragon Quest is more popular in Japan now than Final Fantasy. And there's a whole thing in Japan where culturally they don't like change as much as, like, they're quite not like politically conservative, but they're quite conservative in the way that a lot of Japanese people live, right? So they have like minimalist houses and things like that, and they like things to stay relatively the same. And that's why Dragon Quest is more popular than ever, because Dragon Quest does not mix things up like Final Fantasy does. If you look at the differences between old Dragon Quest to Dragon Quest now, yeah, the games look prettier and so on, and there are differences, there are changes, but it's way closer to that than Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 16. That's a way bigger drastic change in terms of what the game is than what Dragon Quest is.
See, I love... I'd say it's probably one of my favourite games. Peeled through it on Game Pass, was sad when it got taken off, so when it's on special on Steam, I might give it a redabble. Dragon Quest 11. The funny thing is, like, the default combat is, yes, it is turn-based. You go through menus, but you can move your character on the battlefield and stuff, and it's all aesthetics. It doesn't actually serve a purpose. And I was just like, oh yeah, so after playing it for like an hour or so, I switched back to just 4 homies standing in a line the way God intended. And I was like, why change this? This is so good.
Because I'm a Final Fantasy 7 fan, I'm like, well, I prefer actually 3 homies standing in a line, but each their own. No, it's good though. Though before we were talking about Final Fantasy, I was trying to find out how many games there actually are all up, and I found there's over 100. But some lists from a few years back said there's 134, and I'm sure there's been a few added since, because it was probably 3 or 4 years ago that list went up.
Did you ever dabble with Theatrhythm? No?
No.
I bought it on a whim off Mighty Ape because it was like cheap. And it was like, what is this? What is this mess? A fucking Final Fantasy rhythm game? And I was like, oh, actually, this is kind of nice.
The thing is, Final Fantasy music is truly exceptional. Like, it is some of the best music in gaming, just straight up. Like, and I can see there being appeal in that game, because you're like, you get to play all the hits. I'm still mind blown that Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is like, yeah, we've got 400 unique tracks in this. You're like, excuse me? What do you mean 400?
Is that why the file size is so big?
Yep, that'll do it. Still, I don't know. Is it as big as the Oblivion remaster though? Who knows? That's coming up soon.
How big is Oblivion, the remake?
Let me get to that one shortly, because I've got more Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another Ubisoft piece of news. Ubisoft are trying to make Apex Legends. And I'm not even joking. They even used like an Apex Legends icon for their placeholder icon for the game. Apparently they've used some like Apex like assets or similar assets to Apex. This will happen in game development. This isn't like actually to shit on them too hard. I will be shitting on them, but not for that. But they want to make Apex Legends so bad. And to me, that's kind of ridiculous, because they wanted to make Call of Duty bad. They put out X-Defiant. I thought X-Defiant actually played not too bad. I thought it was alright. But they tried to put out a different Battle Royale. It flopped hard. They didn't even let it out of early access. They just let it die. So how the fuck is Ubisoft going to try to make Apex Legends when the best part of Apex is the game feels really good to play? They're not going to nail that. They're not. They make generally okay feeling games. They don't feel bad to play. They don't feel terrible. But you play the shooting in Far Cry, and then you play the shooting in Apex Legends, and you're like, bro, this is not remotely close. Those are 2 very different types of games. I understand. But X-Defiant did feel pretty good, but it didn't feel as good as Call of Duty. It didn't feel as good as Apex Legends. So I think they're very silly to try to trying to cover that market. Try to do something different. Don't keep trying to rip off your competition and make a worse version of their product. Try to do something different, or try to do something you're good at.
Do what everyone has been asking Ubisoft to make, and that is just a mismatch of Child of Light and Rayman, and call it Child of Man.
I knew that was going to be exactly the name.
Ray of Man.
You know, most children are children of men.
I should know this.
If you really think about it, you know. I was a child of a man and a woman, believe it or not.
Well, I was born a baby.
No way. I was actually born this size.
Oh, your poor mum.
This kills the woman.
Oh, yeah. Just
my little 5'5" mum.
Chippy split down the middle.
Oh. But yes, I don't think this is a good idea. We'll have to see if they can pull it off, but I don't think they can, to be quite honest. They got this boner for Apex Legends, and then they're just going to put out this, probably half-assed alternative to it. So,
but also, maybe just theory crafting, but not really having faith in making new IPs. You're just trying to hunt on the hot thing.
Well, they're now doing that thing how they're spinning off.
Oh yes,
that other the big franchise of Ubisoft to make this subsidiary. It's probably going to end up becoming the main Ubisoft, and the rest of it will kind of die over time, I think. So yeah.
We're making a new Rayman game. Yay! It's Pokemon Go Rayman. No! Everyone's just Rayman.
It's a gacha Rayman.
Yeah.
I got Rayman in a sexy outfit. Ooh.
Well, it's just like fucking... Yeah, I was about to say Rayman Candy Crush, but Candy Crush isn't as big as it was. People still play it. People still get sponsorship spot on stream for it.
When it first came out, because there wasn't much really like that mobile, I dabbled a bit of Candy Crush. I didn't hate it. It was alright. I never spent any money on it.
I'm not a doctor, but I definitely think that there might be a correlation to anal prolapse and people sitting on the toilet just playing Candy Crush. Yeah?
I mean, how many people do you know who have anal prolapses?
None, but I also don't know anyone who plays Candy Crush, apart from you. How's your butt?
Where it is prolapsed, but we're getting better. I just poked it back in.
Like a fucking pug eye?
Pops back in. So what you alluded to before, the Oblivion remaster, the Shadow Drop, has happened. The day before, they were like, oh, yeah, by the way, there's a fucking remaster's coming out. I've heard, though, it is more of a remake than a remaster, but they called it Oblivion Remaster. And talking to Scriptlet, and I had heard as well that it runs the Creation Engine like underneath, and then the Unreal Engine over the top of it, which is interesting. So Chris believes, and I believe Chris, but he was saying to us last night that he was like, also, there's Scriptlet. I mean, he's the only person who listens anyway, so he knows I'm talking about him. He was saying he believes that it'll be because Unreal Engine probably can't do all the things that the Creation Engine does. And I know that the Creation Engine gets a lot of shit, and hell, I give it a lot of shit because it is very janky, but there is a lot it can do. So I think as well, there's so many things that are interactable in it, and Unreal Engine probably just couldn't do all of it, but the Unreal Engine looks prettier. So Chris was saying, he's like, I think how it works is it's probably running essentially two versions of the game at once and lay it over top of each other.
Wouldn't that be quite resource hungry?
It sounds like it is a bit resource hungry. It's not terrible for it, but one of them has essentially just got like the visuals and so on, and the other one is the rest of the game. So it's not as bad, but yeah, it doesn't seem to run on, you know, like low end PCs, but your mid end seem to run it okay. But the remaster's 120 gig. I mean, fair enough. It's a modern game, right? The original game is 4.6 gigs.
Oh,
This remake is 26 times larger than the original. And ultimately, it just comes down to 4K textures are just fucking huge. Like that game was built on like tiny resolutions, really. Like, and it was at most probably trying to push 720p. You know, everything's a huge fucking 4K texture, super massive. Like these things just take up massive amounts of space. Like I was talking to my boss today. He was like, "Man, I would love when you install a game. Could you just tell it, I just want to install 2K textures?" And then you literally have, wouldn't quite be half, but nearly half the file size, you know, of it. The game might go down to like 70 gigs because the textures are half the size. Or if it's 1080p, it's a quarter of 4K. All right, so
that file size. I went on Game Pass the other day and saw they had GTA 5, because I'm going to be honest, never played GTA 5. Haven't really, apart from as like a little kid, I played GTA 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like,
give me your wallet.
Maybe it's time pushing kids into the water. But then I was just like, maybe it's time I finally give it a blat, you know, before 6 comes out. I was like, yeah, alright, I'll get it. 95 gigs? Fuck off.
I'm just looking to see, you know, how much, since I changed to a new ISP, I haven't been there that long. I just want to see how many gigs I've used, because I've installed a few games. I've used 2 terabytes in less than a month.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's been probably like 3 weeks and I've used 2 terabytes because games are just big, man. I'm like, oh, I'll install that. I'll install Ninja Gaiden. I'll install this. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's only me who lives in my house as well. Like, that's all me.
Aren't you glad your internet isn't capped?
Oh, 100%. Dude, back growing up, my older brother, when we were broadband, we had a 1 gig cap. And back then, it was small, but everyone else was on dial-up. So we're like, hell yeah, 1 gig, this is great. And then as soon as the cap would reset, my older brother would just download everything, and then we would have slow internet for another 30 days.
Dang.
What a cunt. Yeah, so anyway, the Oblivion Remaster is being received really well. A lot of talks about it. They literally added paid horse armor. They're like, "Ha, look at this funny joke." And people are like, "Ha, classic Bethesda." I'm like, don't you tell them they're funny for this. Fuck them. But it is still a funny bit.
No mod support, though.
Not yet. Usually their games don't launch with it. It usually comes a little later. So Starfield was the same, which nobody wants to make mods for that anyway. It's actually true, dude. The big modders and stuff for the other games were like, oh, I don't want to make mods for this. They started and they were like, nah, not interested. It's something I've realised, though, with what actually is the problem, as someone who played like 5 hours of Starfield. But I think the problem actually is lack of exploration. Like, you're in these much smaller areas. You go to a planet, and they're not big, like massive open explorable areas like the other games. I realised when playing Skyrim, because I became much more of a gameplay focused person at a later point. So when I played Skyrim, I really liked it, and I think it changed when I played Dark Souls. Something in me changed where I'm like, I'm only gameplay. Well, not only, but that was the biggest thing for me.
I can't fucking dodge roll.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean I can't dodge roll in Skyrim, bro? What do you mean? This sucks. This fucking dumb.
Just let me fucking fat roll.
Oh, what do you mean I'm fucking fat rolling, bro? I took off the armor. What do you mean? I don't know why we're doing it like kind of Trent from Punchy, eh? But yeah, the exploration in Skyrim was so good, and Oblivion is actually kind of similar in that regard. I mean, same people, and it was 5 years apart. Actually, that's another thing I'll get to real soon. That and Starfield just doesn't have the exploration. Fallout has the exploration as well. And there's heaps of environmental storytelling, which I'm sure there is in Starfield, but you just don't explore the same. And I think that's what it's missing. And I think that's actually the best part of these games. The writing's fine. The quests are fine. Like, there's some good ones in both for sure. But just exploring and uncovering things, the feeling of discovery, I feel like the only game that's kind of made me realize that recently was Elden Ring. That ticks all the boxes. You have the exploration, the discovery, you have the good combat. And I was like, man, I actually haven't had a game make me feel like that since Skyrim in terms of that exploration.
Hell yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking is missing. And that's what I hope Bethesda can kind of get back to when they make their next game. But yeah, it's crazy to think about. They released Oblivion, then Fallout 3, then Skyrim in the span of like 5 years. And then it's been 14 years since they put out Skyrim now. So, well, people are waiting a long time for a new Elder Scrolls. And when it comes out, I'll probably play it on Game Pass because I'm not invested in Bethesda games like I was when I was 15 years old.
No, see, I didn't really play much of Oblivion. I did the first couple of hours of Skyrim, and it just wasn't clicking for me. But as a kid, I would pull sickies just so I could play Morrowind.
Interesting.
Yeah, I put in so many hours into Morrowind, and then I was just like, I'm going to play as the lizard creatures. Can't put on helms. I'm going to restart my game.
I've never played Morrowind, but everyone I've talked to about Morrowind about who has played it has nothing but good things to say about it. They're like, oh yeah, it is janky and so on, but talking about just how much you could do in the game. And it seems like with each release that Bethesda does, you can do less in each game, which is interesting. You can do more in Morrowind than you can in Oblivion. You can do more in Oblivion than you can in Skyrim. You can do in Fallout and stuff. Fallout 4 you can do less. Starfield you can do a little less again. People are kind of like, what the fuck? What's going on? But yeah, I have no intentions of ever playing Morrowind, and I'll be honest, I probably won't play the Oblivion remaster either. But I have friends who are so excited for this. I watched my boy Ruben, who absolutely loves Oblivion, telling me when we were in high school it's the best game ever. And he's like, oh, it's another gate to Oblivion. Yeah, got to go on that and stuff. And I'm like, why do these all look the fucking same? Like every single one is like, nah, this one's slightly different. This enemy was in this level of the tower instead of this level. And I'm like, shit sucks. My boss was telling me, he was like, that when he played it back in the day, he got so sick of them, he had to install a mod to get rid of them because he was like, I just want to explore the fucking world. He's like, every 5 steps, one of these portals opened up. And you go in there and it's the same fucking shit every time. But yeah, it's still a lot of groundbreaking stuff. Oh, great story from our mate Hamish. Talking about how broken the game was back in the day. He's like, yeah, I drank a potion that gave me permanent water walking. And then I had a quest, I had to dive under the water, and I couldn't do it because I could just walk on it. And for me, I'm like, oh, that's kind of part of the charm in a way, though. It's like, yes, they're broken and janky, but that's real funny.
Yeah.
That a game can even be that broken that can allow you to do that shit. I enjoy that. Still not going to play the game. I might once I get through this backlog, which I probably won't, but it's something I wouldn't mind checking out because visually it looks great, and I'm glad they didn't go for hyper-realism. It still looks like a good-looking Bethesda game. You know, it's still, and some people are like, oh, they've left in these bugs. Oh, and I was like, you want some of those bugs in there? Or, oh, they've still got the stupid face zoom in. I'm like, I love that face zoom in.
Yes.
You can turn it off, and I'm like, why would you turn that off? It's the best part of Bethesda games. Just it goes up and goes. Like, it's just so. There's so much character to that alone, and so much charm.
I remember reading this years ago, this green text of someone playing Oblivion is like, as soon as they talk to an NPC, because that zooms in on their face, he always has to look slightly away from the screen because he can't hold eye contact with people.
Arisen with the tism.
Yeah.
Apparently that's something they've changed as well. Characters aren't just like staring at you like completely. So, because it is a lot though. Eh? It is intense.
Like, did you ever this was like our version of brain rot, but did you ever watch like Oblivion YouTube poops?
Not really, like a very small amount, but
dude, me and my mate would just watch the fucking what was that detective game? It's the whole thing of the meme of press X to doubt.
Oh, LA Noire.
LA Noire. Yeah, poops of that, and I was just like, this is stupid. Well, but it's funny.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is so much of that. That's why when I saw like the Skibbity toilet stuff and people were like, it's so stupid, I was like, bro, we watched like Charlie the Unicorn and
watched Charlie the Unicorn.
You never saw it.
I knew what it was. I just couldn't get into it.
Nah, well, I did prefer the guy's other stuff. Like I preferred the Cloak. That was my favorite.
You're a big
Spirits was good.
You're a big Annoying Orange fan, eh?
Oh, shut the fuck up. I thought that shit was always cringe, right? But we watched Filthy Frank, you know? We watched degenerate shit.
Yeah.
What, Skibbity Toilet's so stupid, and we're watching
Filthy
Frank
face.
eat ravioli, what's in the pocket, Oli? You know?
It was common genius. You'd have like a pasta-stained pocket with ravioli.
And just slurping it, or like making loud orgasming noises. It was fucking stupid content. We were like, bro, this is peak.
We were literally.
I still love that line, ravioli, what's in the pocket, Oli, though. That still gets me.
We would go silly over a man being silly in a pink morph suit. That was peak comedy for us.
Yeah, so that's why when I saw, once again, Skibbity Toilet, I was like, oh yeah, we were into fucking dumb shit too. I'm really not worried about this. Like, so many people are like, it's so stupid. I'm like, we're no better, bro. We're actually no better. The nonsense we liked is just as dumb. Like, there was this restaurant in Christchurch. They it was an Asian fusion restaurant, and the names of the meals were kind of racist.
Bamboozled.
Written kind of, yeah. So written in English, right? And at the time, because we had dealt with them through work at the time, we were like, oh yeah, we thought the names were fine, you know, we didn't think they were that bad, right? Turns out it was 7 years ago now that happened. Me and my boss were like, no, let's look them up. We thought they were clever and creative. We looked at them and they were all like, oh, well, we've changed over the last 7 years, haven't we? Because they're not good. They're actually quite bad, and it's quite funny just how we change over these times, though, eh? Like, because we thought they were like, oh no, they had some kind of clever ones, and we looked at the menu. Nope, just racist. Oh shit.
And it ain't around anymore, at least in Christchurch.
Yeah, they're gone. Because at the time it just didn't seem like it was like, oh come on, man, they're being a bit tongue in cheek with us, and now you're like, 7 years have passed, and we don't view the shit the same anymore. We have moved on. So there's some things I look back on, a lot of those Filthy Frank things, and think this is still great. But some things I look back on about, oh, no, I don't know about that one anymore.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah.
But I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, I can't believe you thought this was funny, you know, back then, because you have to view it through a different lens.
I remember with one of my exes, I showed her Pimp My Wheelchair, and she was just like, this is funny, but it seems really exploitative. And I was like, what would you say if I told you the man in the wheelchair directed this whole thing?
I remember that was the video that Hamish would show everyone. Like, if he'll come around, he's like, have you seen Pimp My Wheelchair? And I'm like, no. He's like, all right, you gotta see this.
Yeah. To the point where we'd be like, oh, I think it's about that time of year to put on Pimp My Wheelchair.
Got to do it, mate. Got to do it. The last thing about the Oblivion remaster I want to say, though, for me, it is wild, though, that Xbox having paid a bag for Clear Obscure Expedition 33, which is a fucking awful name, by the way. Truly awful. Game seems great. Reviews are excellent. I think it was like last I saw like a 92 or a 94 on Metacritic.
Is it obscure or clear?
Good. Really, really good reviews. But they're like 2 days before they've got we're calling this an FJRPG. Well, I'm just going to call it JRPG, but I like the idea of it being a French-Japanese RPG. But 2 days before that, they shadow drop the Oblivion remaster. Yes, it's a different type of RPG, but it feels like a real kick in the teeth. And it feel for your partners who end up on Game Pass, you just got to be like, some people are like, oh, we don't want to end up on Game Pass because Xbox could just fuck us over and launch a massive RPG 2 days before our one, or they could launch a massive first-person shooter 2 days before we put ours on there. So we aren't going to go on Game Pass. We'll go partner with PlayStation for PlayStation Plus or whatever. So Xbox, I don't want to see you doing that shit. All right, don't fuck over this team that's made I think it's on a AA budget out of France, but really AAA looking quality game with massive voice talent. Game looks absolutely stunning. YouTuber Mr. Maddie Plays tweeted out about it. He's like, I think this is the best turn-based RPG I've ever played. So this man fucking loves JRPGs. He loves the Trails games like you. He's a fucking weeb.
Yeah.
He's not really a weeb, but he loves RPGs. And he was like, this might be the best turn-based RPG I've ever played. You're like, holy shit, this fucking high praise. Because everyone keeps criticizing him at the moment for being, he's so negative. He doesn't like all his games. He's given this game massive praise. He's a massive Xbox fan as well. So, yeah, I just don't. I think that we lose when Xbox make these moves because, yeah, why would you? I don't know. It'd be like, oh, I'm putting out my own first-person shooter, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna launch Doom 2 days before your game. Like, oh, well, fuck. Guess my game's fucked then. So hopefully it still sells well. I think it will because, let's be honest, Xbox is not the big fucking dog in town right now. I think it'll sell well on PC. I think it should hopefully sell really well on PlayStation. Yeah, so hopefully we get to see more of the studio. Also, it has Ben Starr in it, who was in Final Fantasy 16 in the lead role and is most importantly in the Balatro ads that they're doing, and dresses up as Jimbo and accepts awards at the award shows on behalf of Balatro. This guy fucking rules. I love this dude. He's so great. He's so funny, and he's in this game. And I just want to give him a massive shout out in this, like he needs it, you know. But yeah, he's in also the lead role in First Berserker Kazan that I've just finished. So he is all over the place. Great voice talent, all round just hilarious dude. Also doing stuff now for Magic the Gathering with the Final Fantasy cards that are coming out, and a hilarious ad for them. So I'm interested to see anything he's kind of signing up to do now, because I feel like he is becoming a big deal in the industry, and it feels like it's so nice to see this rising voice talent, because we've had so much of the same voice talent for ages, which they're great, you know, like your Nolan Norths and the massive name I have already forgotten for this, even though it's huge. Dude, I'm so bad for names, man. I'm so bad. Troy Baker. I didn't even Google it yet. Okay. I mean, it was Joel in The Last of Us. He's played the Joker in Arkham Origins. Like
was I'm pretty sure, was he Delson in that game for
Infamous Second Son?
Yeah.
Pull it up, Jamie. He was. Yeah, good pull, man. Really good pull there.
Mm.
He is excellent. I think he's so good because I can't tell that it's him in every role that he's in. You know,
Yeah.
he is. I think he is one of the best, like, English voice actors, English language. Not pretty sure he's American. I'm not saying he's British. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think he's so good because I can't tell that it's him. He voiced Indiana Jones recently, and you're like, holy shit, that sounds just like Harrison Ford. That's fucking crazy.
He's got chops.
Yeah, he's superb. But it's so nice seeing someone else like rise up. Also, in a pretty short period of time. I'm sure Ben Starr's done a bit, but he did Final Fantasy 16 and then absolutely fucking blew up. And mostly through memes and just being a silly guy. And he does throw a banana in one of the Bellatra outtakes, so you know his commitment to the bit unmatched.
Hell yeah.
Stephen, are you watching The Last of Us season 2?
No.
Did you watch The Last of Us season 1?
No.
Stephen, did you listen to a 7-hour
No.
recap of The Last of Us 2 recently? Okay, that was just me. That was just me.
No, like I couldn't get into the games. I gave the first game an honest shake, and I was like, "This ain't it. This ain't it for me." I know that there was a very, very vocal group on Reddit saying that the person that they got to play Ellie is miscasting, and I'm just like, "Yep, absolutely," but the focused hate towards her because she doesn't look like Ellie. It's like, damn, poor person. Like,
yeah, her acting as well is fine in it. Like, her acting's actually not bad at all, but she is a miscast for sure. Like, the person they got to play Abby
should have been Ellie.
Look, yeah, apparently she even like tried for the role originally as well. I think she looks way more the part. She's actually been great. I will give no spoilers for game or for the show, but she has been great so far. There's 2 episodes out, season 2, and giving a great performance for Abby. But
she's not jacked.
Yeah, she's not jacked. Which they've said anyway. They're like, oh, that was more for like a gameplay reason she was jacked, but we wanted the characters to feel different to play, but also. Man, she looks, other than not being jacked, she looks fine for Abby. But they probably should have got someone at least or they should have got her to bulk up a little bit, you know?
Or just have all her dialogue, her main dialogue lines from the neck up.
And just keep talking about, I need to get my protein in me. I need to get some creatine.
I need that 8-inch dick. I mean, as in to grow an 8-inch dick, because that's what creatine does.
Because she also, though, probably gets that later on in this show.
Oh, spoilers. But
you haven't even played. You don't know. Actually, no, you do know.
Yeah, because it was hard. There was a period in time where that part of the game was hard to miss. It was getting posted everywhere. Interesting observation. Pretty sure that one of the people that's part of Abby's camp, the bald lady, pretty sure that's the person that the new Naughty Dog game is based off.
Yeah, I was hearing that as well. I think it is her. So
because it looks a lot. I was just like, so when I saw that, I was like, she looked just like the lead in Intergalactic or Galactic, whatever it's called.
Yeah, which has also got a stupid name. That one. It's got a stupid sub name on it, but
Galactic something Heretic.
Heretic Prophet or something.
Yeah.
If it was just like Intergalactic, you're like, oh, it's kind of cool.
And then
But
maybe
Heretic
in
Prophet.
brackets have planetary.
Brilliant. Write that down. Yeah, it's. I don't know why. Can people just not name games anymore, bro? Why are we calling a game Clear Obscure Expedition 33? Fucking dumbass name, bro. That name sucks. All
Even
right?
Expedition 33 sounds great.
It sounds way more interesting to me. Clear Obscure. It's too wordy. They wanted to be a JRPG so bad they gave themselves the most like stupid JRPG name. Infinite Undiscovery.
Fucking
How do you undiscover something?
fucking Splinter Cell was bad also back in the day. Their games weren't Splinter Cell, they were Tom Clancy. Splinter Cell. It's like, who is this guy?
Yeah, who is this Tom Clancy?
Yes,
Wasn't even that? It was like Tom Clancy, Splinter Cell, and then a sub-name as well. It was just too much. I think as well, sure, there's probably a deal. They probably had to put Tom Clancy on there as well.
Because they're based off books?
Yeah, essentially. Some of them are based off the books. Some of them are very, very loosely based off books. I think it might have been Tom Clancy who, in his books, had a bunch of shit that was actually like things that actually happened, and they were like, who the fuck does he consult? Because he had like all these ex-military guys consulting where he would tell actual fucking stories that happened. Who were like, this classified information, what the fuck, who told him? He would never say it was based on true stories or anything. He would just put it in a book and people were like, what the fuck? We know this happened. So yeah, just I know as well there's certain things where I hear about studio names where people are like, Naughty Dog is actually a stupid name for a studio, but we've known them for 30 years, so we go think, oh, it's it's fine.
But Insomniac, I'm pretty sure the fucking crew members sleep eventually.
I actually think Insomniac's a cool name though.
No, it is. I liked Insomniac. The name Insomniac.
Even a name like I think as well, like a lot of these one-word names are kind of cool as well. Like
what does
Blizzard,
FromSoft mean?
From Software is a stupid name. It's like, you're Japanese. Why is your name From Software? Like, where's the software from? I mean, Japan, but come on. It's my favorite studio ever, and I'm like, this name's fucking dumb. A name that I do like, Moon Studio. It's simple. Moon Studio, great. Currently working on No Rest for the Wicked.
Excited for that.
Looks cool. I don't want to play it in early access. It looks like a game that just going to have to let them cook. The Ori games are outstanding. Some of the most beautiful games I've ever played. Moon Studio, though, great name as well. So, just something like that. You don't have to be... people get a little silly on it. People might say No Scrubs is a dumb name. You know what? You're probably right. You hear it, you probably... Oh, I'll type that in. Terrible searchability because I spelled it N-O, not K-N-O-W.
Chucklefish?
I think it's a cool... Chucklefish? I like Chucklefish. It's not like in the top like echelon of names, but you're like, oh, that's fine. That's a fine name. It sticks with you.
Virgin.
Bethesda's just like, it's a place. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not good. It's a fine name. You know. Hazelight Studios. That's fine. It's all right. Remedy. Great name. Love Remedy. Great name.
We should have, instead of calling it No Scrubs to tell everyone, so everyone knows it's like New Zealand based, should have just called it like Tinny House Products or Tinny House Projects.
Oh, great idea! Yeah. I love smoking weed. Smoke weed every day. Came up at work today actually because when Boss's wife was unwell, they're like, man, we were just really like, do we just get her some fucking edibles because she ain't doing so hot. And then I was like, man, when I was really struggling to sleep, I was like, dude, do I just fucking buy some weed and try smoke it and just see, can I get to fucking sleep? Because I just could not sleep. I was getting 4 hours a night. It was fucking awful. And then it just came right. But my flatmate at the time was like, really like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. It was like, mate, I'd go out to the garage and just have a little puff, you know, just to see if I could actually get some sleep. Nah, I really would be against you doing that, mate. Like, what the fuck? I just want to sleep, cunt. This isn't for recreation.
Yeah, but
I just want to get more than 4 hours.
You go to bed. You're still tossing and turning. It's like, oh, but I feel so creative. I have so many thoughts. In fact, I can't.
So many good ideas.
I can't go to sleep. I'm finding it hard to go to sleep because my head's just throbbing with good ideas.
Something I've never said in my life. You're the ideas man, Stephen. I'm the execution man. That makes me sound like I've got a fucking hood on about to fucking chop some heads. But I'm the one that pulls the trigger. Once again, sounds like I'm killing people. You're the one that has the ideas, and I try to execute on said ideas.
I'm just good with silly words.
Yeah, and it works. It's the method, man. You just throw so much shit at the wall, and then you see what's stuck at the end of it. If you have 100 ideas and 20% of them are good, 80% shit, that's still 20 good ideas, man. So that's far more important.
I'm still chucking shit at my own wall, though.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, bro. You need to clean that up. That's grotty as fuck, bro. I'm telling your parents.
It's only smiles.
Oh, dude. PS5 price is going up. It's fucking bullshit. Look, it's a smooth transition, okay, Stephen? We're transitioning. I need sometimes these feel a little forced, okay? I'm trying to make it a little more organic, okay? It's called podcasting. Look it up.
But yes.
Dude, it's weird though. Like, yeah, some countries in Europe and Africa and Australia and New Zealand were increasing the price of the PS5, and people are like, it's Trump's tariffs. You're like, what have they got to do with us? They don't. It's nothing to do with the tariffs, but it fucking sucks. This is the first generation where everything's going to get more expensive as the generation goes on. But I think that this is a bad decision, and I know that. People were like, yeah, but if they're not making money off it, they need to increase the prices. And sure, I get that. Economics of business and so on. But they need to be cheaper than the Switch 2. You need to be able to say you can get a higher fidelity, better quality experience on the PS5 for less money than the Switch 2. And I think that because if they're more expensive, you're like, oh, why would I get the PS5? Because it's more expensive. Like, it's better. You're like, yeah, but this is portable as well. This does more things. So I think they're shooting themselves in the foot doing this.
So I heard about the price hike at work because someone was just like, who was in charge of merchandising and stuff. They was like, hey, just a little heads up, the PS5 is going to be increasing in price. And I was sort of a bit in earshot, so I didn't ask, and my brain just went to, okay, maybe they're going to release like an expensive version, like a Pro, or just a product that will replace the regular PS5 and PS5 digital. So it's like, cool, all the people who have already bought the old PS5s, cool. We're not making those ones anymore. We're going to be making this new one to replace it, and it's going to be more expensive.
Even then, these things get cheaper to manufacture as time goes on, like usually. So it wouldn't make sense for them to do that, because if they were like, we got a new SKU, the new SKU should in theory be cheaper because it should be cheaper to manufacture. And that's how, like, every generation, like, so when we're talking about earlier, in New Zealand, the PS3 launched at $1,200. I bought one late generation. I bought the Slim for $500 with 3 games. And $700 less and came with 3 games.
Buying a console for $500?
I don't say $300 less. Sorry, $700 less. Dude, what the fuck was my maths? But yes, literally $700 less with 3 games. That's how it's been in previous generations. This is going up $100. So you pay more for this. And how inflation's been as well, you're paying even more from the start of the generation.
If this is going to be the way forward, then I'm expecting every game to have thick thighs.
Every single game, mate.
Every single game.
I want to see it, mate. I want to see a Transformers game with Optimus thighs out there, bro.
Optimus thighs.
Thick with those thighs. That one's more for the video watchers than the listeners. I'm just saying.
What was the reason why they're doing a price hike? Or is it just...
They've said kind of the cost of business, tough economic times, blah blah blah. Kind of, there wasn't like it was just the cost of business kind of deal was essentially what they were saying.
But PS5 sell really well.
Yep.
like if they were going to like almost Sega Dreamcast themselves, then it's like okay, maybe, but
If even then, I think though if they were doing poorly, they'd want to sell them cheaper. I know you'd lose more money per unit, but you want them out there in the wild, so then people start buying games, and then they make their 30% on each game sold, and then 100% on their own published games. So that's generally what happens. So but if you're doing well, you also don't want to put the price up because then you're just going to sell less and do less well. Yes, you'll make more per unit, but that's not where the real money is.
but also it's weird that they're doing this where they are in the PS5's life cycle because we're going to be
4 years in, is it?
yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure each Sony console has a shelf life of 6 years till they announce their next console. Or
Historically,
they start developing their new console.
it's actually 5 years in November, so it's 4.5 years.
So it's just like now you're deciding to hike the price up. I was like, that's odd. I still haven't even bought a PS5 because I was just like, my computer does all right. There's not really many exclusives I want to get, but also I'm thinking if we're this far through in the PS5 life cycle, it's like surely it's still worth it. But it's just like I don't get that driving urge to go buy one.
The strat is PS6 comes out, buy a second-hand PS5. Because
True.
I think that the next generation, nearly all the games are going to be back compat. I really do think it. I think that we're going to have PS5 games for quite a while. I think the cutoff is it's not going to be the same. Like PS4, yes, we got heaps of cross-platform or cross-gen games, but I think there's going to be even more with PS5. I really do. I think that we might even get it for most of the generation. I wouldn't be surprised if there's only a handful of exclusive PS6 games that don't go to PS5 because it's still, right now, it's still doing well. Some games are still pushing 60 frames. Like, not all of them, but a lot of them are. So I don't think graphical fidelity is going to get much better. The only way it's going to get better, really, well, not the only way, there will be raw performance, but the big one's going to be upscaling because PS5 Pro has got the upscaling, which sounds like not as good as DLSS, but still something. And I think that's going to be the difference. PS6 is going to have that upscaling, and then things are going to be like, wow, it's running at 4K 60, and then the games will still be natively running.
Well, it's like how with backwards compat, the first iteration of the PS3 had backwards compatibility, but
do you know why?
Because the resources it took to emulate or to run the games.
Not even emulate. It literally had like PS2 hardware in there.
Really?
PS3, and that's why they were quite big as well. And they essentially had more or less a PS2 in there, which also does PS1, and that's why it could do backwards compatibility because it wasn't having to emulate. It was actually in there.
But it was only like the first PS3, right? They scrapped it after the 60 gig.
They had to make them cheaper because they were too expensive. Because they were getting shit on by Xbox at that time, and they had to save. Yeah, they had to just price them down a lot. So I think the next ones might have been $800 after that, maybe $900.
The price of the Switch
starting
too.
to get closer. Yeah, but the PS3 was very expensive, and it's that cell processors they put in them as well that were really fucking difficult to work with, and they were like, Sony's like, we want to put it in everything, and it was like, how the fuck do I make this shit work?
I still remember playing Guns of the Patriot, Metal Gear Solid 4, and the way to like wank off the Blu-ray. You get to a certain mission, and one of the people like calls you. It's like, "Hey Snake, I'm really sorry to say this, but you've reached the point in the game where you need to eject disc 1." And he's like, "What?" Yes, you have to put in the second disc. What are you on about? It's like, oh, that's right. This is being played using Blu-ray technology. It's all on the one disc. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, never mind. And it was just so, like, it was such a blatant plug.
It's just kind of fun, though, as well.
Yeah.
You'll be like, Blu-ray. What? Single layer? 50
Game?
gigabytes? Video game? I'm not a big Metal Gear Solid guy, but I love the way Solid Snake like questions things.
Blu-ray?
Metal Gear. Oh man, I feel like those are games that I need to at some point just go and play, and I'm probably going to have a bad time with some of them. Metal Gear Solid 4 is like, wasn't that game like 70% cutscene?
Yeah, but yeah, it was.
You're like, I'm going to justify. No, I'm going to sit down.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's fair, mate.
It's funny because I just couldn't get into 5.
Yeah, 5's the one I really did try, but I couldn't get into 5 either. I'm like, there's some cool stuff in here, but 5, if you're someone who really likes sandboxes, you can probably have a really good time with it. I'm just not that person. Since the last game I loved the sandbox in was probably Skyrim. Really, like, truthfully. But it was probably Skyrim. Before that, maybe, like, GTA, Vice City. But as I got older, I was just less interested in just the sandbox experience. I mean, I was going to say Halo, but I wasn't so much into the sandbox. It was more what other people could make in the sandbox that then I could experience. There was literally a map that was called, like, something like fucking Sandbox. No, 03. I'm gonna find it up, and I bet it's not. It's like sand. Literally, what is that actually called? Sandbox. Okay. I thought it was good, like Sand Trap or something, but no, apparently Sandbox. Cool. Big open map that you could just remove all the shit and do whatever you wanted with it. Yeah. So really, PlayStation 5. Sony, put your prices down, you dogs. Fuck you. I've already got a PS5, so it doesn't really matter for me. What it is. So, we've been playing some games lately. We've been playing some games. I don't know if you know about this. This is a game podcast. We talk about games here. So, I finished the first Berserker Kazan. I got all the fucking achievements. And it was fucking hard, dude. It was real fucking hard. I still could not tell you anything that happens in that story. It is anime slop. It's actually Korean. Yeah, it's anime slop, bro. I'm sorry. There's like a presentation style that now a lot of Chinese and Korean games are doing as well. And it's very like, the Japanese paved the way for that style. It's still, yes, it's not anime because it's not Japanese, but it's anime slop. So the gameplay was excellent all the way through. Yes, there was that boss I was stuck on for an hour and a half. People were saying it was like harder than final bosses and Souls, like in Elden Ring and stuff like that. People were saying, some people were like, this fight's harder than Millennia. And to be fair, I spent more time on this boss than I did on the hardest boss in Elden Ring, which was Millennia. Well, pre-DLC. And it's the third boss in the game. And then the day after I beat it, they nerfed him. So that was a real kick in the dick. But I did it. I get all the way through. I get stuck on another couple of bosses, not to that extent. That's right. One of the next bosses that came up, they buffed the same day they nerfed that other one. So I beat the hard boss, they nerf him, and they buff another boss. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Game just hates you. You in particular.
Yep, it does. Sometimes as well, I was at night and it was like, I'm getting tired. I need to just put the game down and go to bed. Because when I'm tired, I'm just making the same mistakes. The end game, the final boss, if you do all the things in the game, it turns out to be a 3-stage boss fight. So I beat the first stage, and I was like, I know there's going to be a second stage. There's definitely going to be a second stage. So I beat the first, sure enough. Second stage, like, okay, cool. You know, I die quite a few times to it. I eventually beat that, and then there's a third stage. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude. What the fuck? So normally if you get like the bad endings, there's just 2 phases. 3 phases for that, and it is... Third phase isn't as tough, but dude, that just feels like you're like, I'm just about out of heals. Holy shit, there's a close fight. No achievements pop up and a cutscene plays. I'm like, okay. Okay, we're doing this, aren't we? We're fucking doing this. Yeah, but third phase wasn't too bad. Same thing happened to me in Sekiro, actually. I beat this hard boss, but he was a boss that's like really a boss to filter you. I beat the first phase and I was so fucking chuffed because I kept dying. I was like, yes! And then there's a second phase. I'm like, oh, fuck. I beat the second phase. Yeah, oh, third phase. Fuck. Third phase is easy unless you're a fucking idiot like I am. So, reminiscent of that, but this was a little easier. And then sure enough, they made me sit through the entire credits and I wasn't happy about that. Let me skip credits, man. I know a lot of people worked on this, but come on now. So, yeah. Great game. I think last time I talked about it, I forgot to mention there's a skill tree in it as well, which is cool because you've got your 3 weapon types and then you've got general skills. So you can, I want to use all my big, heavy weapon ones. So just my big great sword. So I speak everything into that and a couple of like common ones. And yeah, just gameplay wise, really fucking good. Definitely a top 3 non-From Software Souls-like, which is high praise because there's a shitload of them now. Which reminds me, Lords of the Fallen is doing like a 2.0 version of the game, and it looks really good. Because I played, this was the reboot that they did. I played it, and it was decent. It took me a while to get into. I was probably at 5 or 6 hours in until I actually started enjoying it. Which I was like, I spent fucking $100 on this. I'm gonna play it. Yeah, but for anyone who's interested in Souls-likes, I definitely recommend First Berserker Kazan. I do think it's good. Story, you're probably not going to get much out of it. It was nonsense. Anime slop. Decent performance from Ben Starr, but I didn't watch a lot of the cutscenes after a while because after watching the first probably 5, I was like, I'm not watching any more of this until like the last one. And then I was like, this is still nonsense. It's not the performances though. It's just the writing of it. I can't remember what the series is, but it's based on like there's another series and they've done like an MMO and I think they've done a fighting game as well. Is it an F and F? F and F, that's a thing, isn't it? F-
Five Nights Freddy's.
F and F, is that it? Nah, fuck, it's not F and F, is it? Fuck, I really did Five Night Freddy. It was some fighting game and some MMO from a Korean studio that had done it. And
wait,
yeah, DNF did not finish.
Dungeon
DNF
Fighter.
Duel.
Yeah, DF Duel. Dungeon Fighter.
Yeah, okay, it is that one. Not Five Nights Freddy.
Five Nights Freddy.
Five Nights Freddy. So
the MMO's a side scroller.
Is interesting. So it's like, is it like an old school like MapleStory like kind of?
No platforming. It's just all brawler.
Oh, interesting. I was just looking at this. I'm like, man, this game looks a lot like Guilty Gear, and then it's like, oh, Arc System worked on this. Makes sense. Yeah, but it's all in that kind of world. Definitely a fun game if you like Souls-likes. If you don't, do not play this game. It's fucking brutal. So, and there's too much loot. Need less loot in these games. Okay, I like Neo, but I can't get through. I had to go back to Neo 1 a few times to get through. Well, to get to enjoy it. I had to put it down for ages. But yeah, just need less loot. You don't need to drop the same fucking axe 30 times and then I've got to go in inventory management and then dismantle all of them or sell them or whatever. Just give me a little less loot. Make the loot a little more meaningful. I think would be better. Otherwise, great game. Got all the Chivos. And I was kind of glad. I was like, look, now I can uninstall it and be done with it. I suspect it's got to get a DLC because I think it's done better than they expected. Good game.
It's called Chivos.
Yeah, mate, Chivos. It's like that guy from Jackass, Chivo.
Ah.
He's actually looking kind of healthy now instead of kind of fucked up. He always looked a little bit sickly. But I know he's been sober for years now. I saw a video of him and he's growing his hair back and you're like, oh man, he looks kind of good. Shout out to Steve-O. Next game I've been playing, South of Midnight. So I've only played like an hour, maybe 2 hours tops so far. But I know a lot of the complaints I've heard is like, oh, the gameplay, there's just not enough depth to the combat and so on. But I'm not at that point yet, so it's been fine. I've really been enjoying it. The vibes, outstanding. The visuals are just fucking excellent with the stop motion stuff. It's really, really beautiful. So far, I'm really quite enjoying maybe not the overall story, because I haven't got much yet from the overall story, but the stories of, like, you're essentially trying to, like, you go through, it sounds kind of dumb when you say it, but when you play it, it makes sense, but you're kind of going through and seeing these spirits, like, kind of traumatic events, and you're trying to kind of, like, you're trying to help them pass on, in a way. And then the music, as you collect these souls up in these bottles, you get little pieces of the music start like kicking in. Like, so previously you had less instruments, and then there's now you've got the drums that have kicked in this part, or now and at the end you get the vocals, and the songs will tell you a story. The song that will play will be about essentially what happened to this person. And it was actually, like, the first one, real sad and quite touching. I really enjoyed that, as much as it was like, man, this is a fucking miserable this is a miserable story what happened to this guy. But you kind of help them pass on and so on, and I think that is really nice. Yeah, so you get a few abilities. There's, traditional kind of like action kind of 3D platformer combat. You get a few abilities. This one of them, because you get these spirit powers, so you can tether these enemies so they'll take more damage. You can pull them and then fuck them up, and then use one to push them away. And it's like pretty basic melee combat, like combos. Spam the X button or hold it down to a charge attack that'll do more damage, and kind of bit of an AoE in in a line. So far, there's been a few enemy types, but I felt maybe 4 different enemy types. Some that are just purely melee, ones that spit out these like flies at you that you can throw back, use like the push back at these nests that the flies blow up when they hit them, or ones that start like ranged ones that spit things at you. And enemies will glow yellow, and then they'll be about to do an attack that you have to dodge, and you can't damage them in that time, so you just got to back off, and then you can engage again. So I think from what I've heard, there's not much more depth than what I've played in combat already. So I guess I'll find that out for another 8 hours of gameplay. But so far, 2 hours in, I don't have much negative to say about it so far. I know that we spend a lot of time on the negativity on here, because I think in games there is a lot of negative shit right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that fucking Ubisoft does, and the shit with the crew and that, But there's also a lot of positive. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing from this game so far, and hopefully it keeps delivering on this for me. I hear the end is a bit abrupt, but yeah, so far so good. And it's nice to play something so different than anything I've played before. Like, I haven't played a game that's quite like this, and that's why it really stands out to me. And so far the performances are really good. I love the fish, the talking fish. He's great.
Yeah.
Big fan of him. Hazel, so far, it feels like for a while games would have like, I don't know, I feel like they were really bad at writing women, because all the like women characters were like really, really like arrogant and just really unlikable.
Yep.
And it was all off-putting. Hazel I like so far. Like, she's got a little bit of a strained relationship with her mum, but clearly loves her mum. And she's like, the only thing she's been braggadocious about, you see that she was like a sprinter. So she's got these medals and stuff, and she's like, I'm great because I'm fast. And you're like, okay, well, that makes sense. You literally have medals. And then she gets humbled pretty quick. And then you're like, oh, okay. So I think that she's a good character. I'm loving the southern twang to everything and the vibe. Like, you're going around to all these houses in this like swamp area, and they've all got like eviction notices, and you're kind of like, what the fuck happened here? Why did all these people get evicted? And you're trying to figure some things out. So I recommend South of Midnight, especially it's on Game Pass, so there's not much.
Oh yeah.
not much of a barrier to it. And the
Might give
next
it a
game,
dabble.
yeah, I think you should. I think especially it's Game Pass, you'll know pretty quick if you're not into it anyway. Once you get to like the main kind of first area, yeah, you know pretty quick. But it's got a lot of we got a lot of games in like the PS2 era and even like the early Xbox era, like Voodoo Vince and stuff like that. It's probably in a way the most reminiscent of those types of games. I like Voodoo Vince. Voodoo Vince has got a lot of charm. The next game I've been playing is a little bit of Borderlands 3 with my mate Rio. So
Ooh.
first thing I want to say is fuck Randy Pitchford. You knew it was coming.
Randy
Anyone who
by
knows
Bandy.
me knows I fucking hate Randy Pitchford. Fuck that guy. Unblock me on Twitter, you coward. You absolute coward. But yeah, it's Steven's going to call it friend slot, but it is a game that is better with friends. So
No,
and
that's not friend slop. Friend slop's
Well,
like
well, that's what you called. What was I saying earlier? Marathon. You said was friend slot.
oh yeah, because it
So I
is.
wanted to play it with a friend.
I haven't looked at anything about it, but
Yeah.
no, it's friend slop.
Yeah, fuck you. You just hate it because you don't have any friends. Fuck you. You're not my real dad.
I'm speaking to him right now.
Oh. So anyway, it was a good way to catch up with old mate Rio anyway and play a bit of Borderlands 3 because her partner's not interested in playing it. He actually likes really similar games to me. He loves Binding of Isaac. He loves Souls-likes. He's a good dude. But yeah, so we played a little bit of that. So I'm playing, can't remember the name of the character, but playing the guy who's got the pets, the robot man, voiced by
Zero.
that YouTuber. He's voiced by the YouTuber ProZD. His name, fuck, I don't know. I don't remember anyone's name, bro. I don't remember my name. But yeah, so far not that far in, maybe a couple of hours, and the yarn is whatever. But gun playing stuff's fun. I've always liked that in Borderlands. You're going around looting. I know before I was complaining too many weapons, but I actually think Borderlands weapons actually kind of work well. Borderlands having more weapons. Because every weapon is different. And in the first Berserker and Neo, every weapon of the same type is pretty much the same thing. Right? It's like, oh, this is you picked up a katana. It's a katana no matter what. These guns are all quite different because there's so much randomization with them. It's like, oh, this one when you go to reload, you throw it at the enemies and it explodes. You go, oh, that's fucking cool. Or you get special weapons like. My favourite one, which is this is when I knew I loved Borderlands 1, was when you get TK's Wave. Not a good weapon, but a shotgun where the bullets, it should be shells, I know it's a shotgun, but there's like a wave of bullets that just go woo and like hit the enemies, and I'm like, dude, that's so cool, because I'd never seen a weapon like that in a game. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Borderlands 3 so far, alright, fuck Randy Pitchford, and that's all I've got to say on the matter. What about you, Stephen? What have you been playing?
Well, the game that I finished recently is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's okay. So I have a couple of problems with it, but I'll start on the highs first.
Play as Goku. Now
Yeah.
time for the negatives.
Play as Gohan. No, so there's there's certain animated scenes that are great, like Kid Buu getting whacked with the spirit bomb and he's like disintegrating, or even like the father son Kamehameha against Cell, beautifully animated. Like, so well done. There's like quite a few scenes in the game where it's like, damn, that is actually, it looks way more impressive in a video game than it ever did watching it on TV, because technology and stuff. There's also some cool little things that get expanded on, because I remember, you know how 16 gets the bomb taken out of him. There's a scene where, like, 16's getting fixed and Gohan has, like, this one-on-one talk with Android 16. And he's his whole thing in the show was just like, I must kill Goku. That's what I was programmed for. But in this scene, he's just like, yeah, I am based off Dr. Giro's son, who was a proud warrior. I'm who loves to fight. I am not a proud warrior. I love animals. I love nature. I want to protect these things. I am faulty, and the only thing that I'm programmed for, is to kill Goku. And he's just like, do you actually want to kill my dad? He's like, it's what I was programmed for. And I was like, damn, that was like a wee scene that they expanded on in the game. It's like, that's really cool. And yeah, there was the downside is I hate intermissions. Like, I don't mind doing some grinding, getting some quests, but there'll be, when you finish the major saga, or you're in the middle of a saga, you'll have intermissions. It's like, I want to see that scene. I want Gohan to go Super Saiyan 2. I want to start the Cell games. I want Hercule to be introduced. And it's like gearing up for the Cell games, and you get to intermission. It's like, cool. I'm skipping all side quests because I just want to get to the scene. The intermission quest that you have to do is, Chi-Chi wants to make a meal before you guys go to the Cell games. You need to get the ingredients. Doesn't tell me where the ingredients are. I have to look on Google. So it's like the fishing mini game's pretty fun, but it's like, oh, you find this in a snowy area. Ugh. You find this, and you find this. It's like, fuck, man.
It just
unnecessary padding.
Yeah. Feels like a bit of filler, eh?
But also,
essentially fitting for an anime.
Yeah. But I gotta say, there is, even though it's a prettier game. Oh, also the combat. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You do a way to win. One tactic, it gets it done. I also hate the fact that, like, yeah, I should probably not be fighting Lord Beerus when he's like 30 levels above me. But I hate the idea of, like, I'm being strategic and I'm like chipping away at his health. He goes into his rage mode and he just does like 5 attacks. Killed me. It's like, well, that makes me really mad.
Though you reminded me of it. I feel like it was in Budokai. I feel like it was in one of the Budokai games, and you'd fight the hardest like enemy in the game, but you'd verse them with Captain Ginyu, and then you would just let Goku, or so I can't remember if it was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in there. I can't remember who the strongest was in Budokai 3. But you get him to get you low, and then you just do the fucking your ultimate body change, and then beat him up, and you get the highest like tier items in the game.
Damn, that sounds like Budokai like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it was Budokai 3, because it wasn't Tenkaichi, because that shit would be still hard to pull off on that in Tenkaichi, I imagine. I think I remember it being 2D, but I could be misremembering. But you just brought back that memory when you're like, oh, we've got to fight Beerus, who's fucking 30 levels higher than you. I'm like, ooh. I know a guy who could deal with this, right?
He's got a milky cannon.
Well, he's got a strong jersey, if you know what I mean.
But the other thing is, like, no spoiler to people who haven't played it, but on each map you have these red icons, and those are enemies, like high level enemies. If you clear them out, old enemies will spawn on the map, like all 3 iterations of Boo that you fight, Cell and a bunch of Cell Juniors, just high level bosses. And if you fight them, you fight a certain person. And that person, seeing him in that game, I was just like, this is kind of giving me the itch to go play Xenoverse 2. But that has problems in itself. I enjoy Xenoverse 2, but yeah.
Wasn't for me.
Fair. Like, I'm just like, I want to get back into it. And then I just, like, my brain just ticks off the reasons. Like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? It's like, not in a rush to get back into it.
Sometimes though, you just have to do it. Like I was like, I have all these games to play, and then I was like, no, I want to play through Dark Souls 1 and 2 again. Could have played through 3 again as well, and I was like, no, I'll Souls out for now. I got to play a different Souls like. But sometimes you have to do it, man. Sometimes you got to go back to these games. Like I'm normally like I've said, why play this thing or watch this thing I've seen before when there's all these new experiences? But every now and again, man, you need a bit of comfort.
Yeah.
You know? So go back, Stephen. Go back into the loving arms of Xenoverse 2.
I don't think it loves me.
Oh, well, you know. Is what it is, baby. Fuck it, we bought
Oh, fuck it. Fucking, I'll think. Since Kakarot's finished, maybe I'll uninstall it and go into Xenoverse.
Here we go. He's been convinced.
Yeah.
I put 11 hours into Kakarot, and the whole time I was hoping that it would start to grow on me, and it just didn't. I think I was still in the Frieza Saga, or got quite far into the Frieza Saga, and I was like, yeah, I've done enough. I really tried. Well, I still love Dragon Ball Z, and that's okay, man. I'm glad though you found a lot to enjoy about it at least. Anyway.
Oh, I got to see the funny snap, which was nice from the game.
Oh, what was the snap again?
It was Super Boo on at Kami's lookout, and he wants to like kill those people. He's like, no, don't kill them. That's Videl. That's Mr. Satan's daughter, and he's just like, yes. She does smell like Satan.
That's pretty good. Did Gohan call him the word in that one?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
5 out of 10 game.
You redacted.
Yeah. You silly Billy.
I mean, what is Silly Billy, but really the same thing, just polite.
That's just polite. You silly duffer.
Any more thoughts on Kakarot?
I reckon if you don't have the patience to sit down and watch Z or Kai, but you've wanted to get into Z, Kakarot does deliver the story and the main story beats very well. If you love Dragon Ball Z and you just want to give it a blat, go for it. It's a very alright game. The highs in it are good. The animation, superb. But yeah.
It's nice to go through if you want the story or you've watched the anime and you're like, oh, I would like to rewatch it. It's kind of a good way to kind of relive it, but getting to play through because it looks good and you know I had issues with the combat, but the game was responsive. It wasn't like the game didn't feel horrific or anything. It was just combat ended up repetitive and tedious for me.
And you get to relive that filler episode of Piccolo and Goku going for their driver's license.
I wondered if you were about to say that with your filler episode. You're like, dude, Dragon Ball Z filler, low key, kind of great though.
And the driving's actually okay for something that you think is just going to be tacked on. It's like it's responsive. It was fun. I've done a couple of races.
I love that. That episode's great. I haven't watched Super. I've watched the movies, but I haven't watched the show. I saw the baseball episode, like filler episode.
Yeah.
I saw that on Twitter. That is excellent.
Yeah.
The humor in it, genuinely so funny, man. I'm very critical of anime slop, and I'm very critical of filler. I watched a snippet of that, and I was like, dude, I got to watch this whole episode. It was so funny. And it's great seeing Yamcha back as well and actually kind of in his element for a little bit with the baseball.
If you want to dabble Super, because it's all being dubbed, I recommend that just because usually I'm just like, watch the sub, it's better, but you've grown up with these voices, but they're just all in on the characters. Like,
yeah, I think the Dragon Ball Z dub is better, to be honest. I think that I don't like Goku having because he's Goku, Gohan, Goten, all voiced by the same woman in Japanese, and her voice is just very high, and you're like, this is like 40-year-old man, the hero, and he has this very, very high voice. Just does not work for me at all. Like, not in the slightest, unfortunately. Other characters are fine. Goku, nah, can't do Japanese Goku at all.
Oh, dude, no, especially there's an episode. No spoilers, but it's the reason why Piccolo get clues into why Goku and Vegeta are with the woman they're with.
Yeah.
Just do I say it?
Bulma got that thing on her.
No, it's just like, because Vegeta just says to Goku, it's like, yeah, we're Saiyans, we're genetically hardwired to like dominating and strong women, and Piccolo just goes, this explains everything.
It kind of does, though, doesn't it? All right. Any final thoughts on Kakarot before
Nah,
we move on?
I've said my piece.
And what a piece it was, mate.
Yeah.
That made it sound like I was taking the piss, but I was just trying to make a joke about, a piece, but it just didn't really work out. Trying to say, Stephen, you got a nice piece on you, mate.
It's all right. It's a solid okay game. All right, there, I said it. All right.
I don't know what I'm doing with my life, mate. So, what I'm doing now, mate, bit of Smash or Game Pass, eh? So, it launched, probably about 30 minutes before we went live. Before we started recording on Game Pass. Clear Obscure Expedition 33. That's the fucking game to play on Game Pass right now. If you're not playing it, fuck you. Play it.
Too Big Red or fuck you.
Obviously, Oblivion's the other game to play, but I want to highlight Clear Obscure because the game is just, yes, it is, as we said, French JRPG, but the game looks absolutely stunning.
Le RPG.
I can't believe the French say "le" unironically. Yeah, the game. Oh, Xbox. Why are you going to make noises? The story they've shown so far seems intriguing, and just if you like JRPGs and turn-based games, this is the game to play. When was the last time we had a super high budget, like, turn-based game like this? It's been a very long time.
I was about to say last super high budget turn-based game, Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, I guess actually for you, it's pretty recent. Yeah.
Maybe maybe for you, a tourist.
Yeah, true. I'm not a weeaboo like you, so it's fine. And the other ones would be, then again, because it's not actually that high budget. This is probably AA budget as well, but the others would be Persona, really. Persona, the Yakuza games, and now this. This would be the only non-Japanese game in the fold. So, I definitely think it's worth checking out. I feel like for a lot of people aren't actually familiar with it, and then you have a look and you see how the game looks and the gameplay, and even, look at the reviews. The reviews are fucking excellent for it. It looks like it's, if you like turn-based games, absolutely play this. And if you're not sold on it yet, because it hasn't launched at a full price, it's launched a little cheaper. But if you're not sold, it's on Game Pass. This isn't a big commitment to check it out. Definitely have a look. Massive voice talent. Andy Serkis is in it. Ben Starr's in it, and there's more people who I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're all good. They're all good. Check them out. And it is true. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me pull it up. Oh, Charlie Cox, who's Daredevil's in it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, man. Definitely have a look. See what you think. Let me know in the comments that I'm wrong. Say, look, you suck. You're wrong. This
Trim
game
that
is
beard.
trash. Hey, I'm not ready to trim it yet, alright?
Nah, don't. It looks good.
How dare you? How dare you, Stephen? Trim your pubes, mate. I see them sticking out at the top of that frame there, mate. If I can, unruly.
But
What
yes,
about you, mate? You doubling down on this?
doubling down on Clear Obscura.
Clear Obscure Expedition 33.
Yeah, because I remember when you brought it on to my attention, two games we were both like, hey, that's pretty good. Was South of Midnight, but then because I was like, oh, cool, it's got a nice art style to it. But then when you showed me Expedition, I was like, oh, what is this? And then the gameplay, I was like, hang on, this looks like a turn-based JRPG done by people who probably love turn-based RPGs, and it looks cool. And I was just like, yeah, no, in fact, I'm going to, once we finish, I'm probably going to install it.
Yeah. Hell
That's
yeah.
a pass from both of us, and we haven't even played it.
Yeah. But we got to hype up some of these
Thumbs
games.
up.
We really do have to hype up some of these games, man, because I hope this game gets
Recognition.
the love and recognition it deserves. You know, I really do. I really do hope it does, because it looks great. And it's going to be hilarious, because next episode I'm going to probably be like, oh, yes, I played the game. Yeah, it wasn't for me. It's hilarious. It's hilarious because there's a real good chance that that's going to be the case, because I'm super picky on turn-based RPGs.
Oh, if I was to play it, we'll see if my computer handle it, but I play it. I was like, oh, did you ever get up to this part of the whole Wii minigame or whatever? And you're like, yep, play it for an hour. And I went back to Balatro.
Dude, Balatro featured in one of the episodes of the new season of Black Mirror for like 5 seconds on screen. I'm like, oh, I was excited. Pog. Yeah, man. So check it out. Game Pass. Treat yourself.
There's just
FJRPG.
just in general, there's just so much value to Game Pass.
Dude, it is a. There's not. I mean, GTA 6 is going to come out, and I know that this hasn't been a real Lewis year for games, really, right? But there have been a lot of good releases this year, man. There's more games than I have time to play. And I didn't expect to be into First Berserker, but once again, having a demo to play really sold me on the game. I played that first 2 hours of it, and I'm like, fuck, I'm buying this, man. This is right up my alley. So it has been low-key a pretty good year for games. There's been a lot coming out. There haven't been as many for me that are that like top level, that 9 out of 10 kind of like, but there's been still a lot of good games. We've been eating good. This is a great year for Game Pass so far, man. This is probably the best year I can remember since Game Pass has started. I know that it started off pretty strong, but they were getting a lot of third-party stuff, and they still are with Expedition 33, but we are eating real good on Game Pass. The value's insane, man. When I look at what I've got installed right now, doesn't necessarily mean I've played these yet. I've dipped my toe in a little bit. Right now I've got installed, I've got Avowed, I've got Blueprints, I've got Black Ops 6, I've got Expedition 33, Indiana Jones, Mullet Magic, Ninja Gaiden 2, Stalker 2, South of Midnight. And yes, Indiana Jones launched last year, but that's an insane lineup. If I get around to all of these games, that has saved me like $1,000. It's like, well,
bargain.
Probably not quite, but you know, not far off. And we're just about 5 months into the year, so it's a great haul, man. Then if I spend $100 on, well, a lot of those games here are $100. Some of them not. Like Blueprints, I think is like $50. So still, good value, man. So I want to end this one off on a review. So I've got one, Steven's got one. This is what we do. So Steam review for Oblivion Remaster. 2006, skipped school to play Oblivion. 2025, skipped work to play Oblivion. Told you glorious bastard, you've done it again, from Lyric on Steam. I liked that one. There was also the one that said the Pope died for this, and I was like, no, I don't know about that one. But, you know, kind of wild. But yeah, I like seeing stuff like this, man. This man, 19 years later, he's loving it. He's just having the best time. Bit of positivity in gaming, so happy to see it, man. So that's a good review.
Oh, yeah.
What have you got for me, mate?
One is just a short and sweet one for Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, from Billiam James. And that just says, glad they gave Terry from Street Fighter his own game.
I don't get it.
Because Terry is in Street Fighter 6.
No, he's a Smash character. What are you talking about?
Shut up. Mai's not a Smash character. Because apparently Smash is for good boys and girls.
Oh, that's right.
And that's why when she debuted, one thing she says is, "Don't keep a good girl waiting." Booba.
Show me. I'm gonna Google my boob. Wait, not my boobs. Oh. Damn it! I googled my own boobs and I was very disappointed in myself. And now I'm gonna go run through the red zone to hide my shame, to lose my shame. Googled. What was it? Fatal. I forgot the name of the game for a moment. I was like, Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury, my boobs. 1 billion views. Well, 1 billion results. Pretty good.
I mean,
all right.
The character's been around for years.
No, I'm gonna Google now, mate. Fatal Fury. Right. All right. Let's have a look. Right, I like what I see here, Stephen. I'm seeing some good plot here, mate. I'm
seeing some furious fate right here. Some fatal fury.
The one I'm looking at right now is actually a fucking Lego render. They even put the boobs on the Lego render. That's how horny these Final Fight fans are.
Yeah.
So, well, really, just got to wrap up our show. And we're like, man, small document, fucking 2.5 hours, bro. I went on some fucking tangents, bro, but we pulled it back in every time. We really did. We did better this time. We managed to weave them back in. It wasn't too bad. What are you laughing about, hey?
We're just talking, it's like, so the price of the PS5.
Yeah.
That
one I was like, this one has to. It's an organic tangent. It was like less organic than if I was like the next thing to talk about. We're working these things out as we go, man. It's funny because you think as well. It's like, oh, it's just fucking talking. It's easy, but podcasting ain't the easiest thing to do, man. Like to actually stay on topic, make sure you're hitting your points, try not to repeat yourself, which we're really bad at. Like I don't think it's something that's ever going to get better for me, to be honest. I'm fucking done. I'm 32 years old, mate. My brain's as developed as it's ever going to be. It ain't happening.
In fact, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, really, it's only going to get worse. So, but we have a bit of fun. That's what it's about, man. It's a good time. Just get to hang out with my boy, talk shit, and then rant about games, talk shit about Ubisoft.
Give something for Script to listen on the long drive home.
Oh, absolutely, mate. He's looking like fucking half hour minimum to get back, mate. Fucking hell.
He'll do laps around the block.
10 minutes.
He'll do laps around the block just to finish this episode.
Imagine he's about to pull the driveway. He's like, oh no, I thought they were finishing up. I better carry on. I can even picture the block, mate, but not actually, because if I close my eyes, I see fucking nothing. So. Look, if we had thumbnails, it really would be like me trying to like visualize an apple or something. Oh. Anyway, if you're still here, do the thing Stephen likes. Give us a like. Put a fucking comment on, mate. Let me know. No, don't call me a cunt. That'd be mean. Don't do that. I don't know. say something like, I don't know, Steven's hair looked good. Lie to the boy. I don't know.
You'd forget the context. It's like, call me a cunt. Then you read your first comment, you just get real cunt. And I was like, you called me a cunt.
Script as well will call me a cunt, and then YouTube might pop up with things like, "Oh yeah, we prefer that you don't use that language."
It's just like, it'd be like the nowadays equivalent of someone's like, oh, just type a comment or something. The first comment's just, "You're gay."
Oh, how did they know? Yeah, just anyway, links to the socials and stuff are below. Follow me. I'm trying to tweet more. I have actually tweeted. I tweeted something out about Bungie the other day, so that was nice. That was exciting. I don't think I got any likes on it though. That's okay. Yeah, that happens, man. If you tweet out controversial things, people like it. People don't care about your real thoughts.
Also, tune into our Baldur's Gate stream on Wednesdays. You'll be able to follow us by using the website www.bosscunt.nz. The domain got renewed.
BOSSCUNT.NZ. That's what you want, mate.
Yep.
That's what you need. And YouTube apparently still hates when you say the word cunt, but fuck it. That's our culture, mate. You can't take that away from us.
Exactly. It's a fun yarn. Right. It's fun yarn. And watch us get frustrated.
Yeah, watch me play really poorly because I still haven't spent the time to learn the mechanics, even though I played it for 65 hours. All right, we'll catch you on the next one.
Goodbye. Bye.